Okay, for everybody coming in, I'll explain what happened in a minute. I completely screwed this up, but now this is making a lot more sense. Frank and I were sitting on the call, and we're like, wow, like, we sold like a decent amount of spots into this. Why is like there's only like 11 people here? And then we realized the very stupid thing we did. Or I did. Won't blame Frank. So give me 1 minute here. And we'll get started. Here's Frank coming in. Frank, are you in here?
Sorry. Yeah, here I am.
No. This makes a lot more sense. Yeah. This is better.
Good Lord, y'all. Sorry, everybody. We're great geniuses of technology. We will be discussing rocket science and other engineering feats for the rest of our time together, as well as neurosurgery and other things that involve following directions and being precise.
I know. Or like, let me teach you like some steps for like setting up Facebook ads and stuff like that. By the way, we can't set up a Zoom call, so we're super credible.
Yes,
Obviously,
totally.
Definitely know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. So right there in the emails.
Oh my God. Whatever. Yeah. So basically for everyone who there's already this technical difficulties happening, right? And then basically what happened is I copy and pasted to Frank the link, the original link that we weren't using anymore. So then I clicked on it after having sent it to him. Then he clicked on it, and then some other people used the original link because they hadn't seen that. So we had like 11 people on, and then like 15 people on. So then we're like, oh, I guess like because people were joining, I'm like, I guess that I didn't put it together right away, and then realized afterwards that I'm a fool. But we're here now. I always say if you make a good impression, start 12 minutes late on the first class. Really,
absolutely
solid and strong.
My idiocy might be contagious.
Yeah, I think that's
this is what it could be. Like I might be making you dumber by association.
Shit.
Yeah. I know. I hope everyone signed the waiver.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Now let me start over again. So for everyone who's here, we're super stoked to have you. Welcome to the Ads Madness Masterclass with Frank and I. So today we're going to go through this framework I have for how to kind of come up with ad ideas and hooks and angles. This will work for really any niche and should really get the wheels turning. So I'm going to teach on that. You'll see some other cool little things throughout, like strategies, best practices. We'll look at several examples, and then we'll even write some ads. And then in the second portion, Frank is going to go through the setup for his $4 kind of bundle that he's running on Facebook, break stuff down, show you how he's running those campaigns, lift the skirt up, the hood up, more PC, lift the hood up, show you all the numbers. Or I don't know, some of them.
Don't judge me for what I wear.
Yeah, you can only see the top up. If you want to know.
Yeah, don't be trying to put a label on me.
Internet marketing's, most famous cross-dressing guru since 1999. It's a little secret people don't know. Right. Francine Curran. Yeah, good for you. You should be. Then tomorrow we'll go through kind of like ads in the wild, and we'll look at different ad types and look at examples. Frank and I will break them down, talk about how we could improve them, things like that, which I think will be a lot of fun because to riff on that with Frank will be a blast and I think valuable. And then Frank will do his sort of educational ad template that he's run for YouTube and other places that has done really well. And then on next Monday, day 3, we will do implementation stuff where you'll actually work on writing ads and you'll have a chance to get feedback from Frank and I and all of that kind of stuff. So that's the game plan. And we are very, very excited to have all of you here with us, checking to make sure nobody else has emailed me to let me know the link wasn't working. And it looks like we're okay now. So let's dive in here. Yeah, everything's gonna be recorded. We'll send out replays after the calls for every session. So they'll all be recorded. And so let me share my screen and we'll jump in. And then Frank, of course, you'll be able to chime in and add and all that kind of stuff. Bill, I know it's next Monday. I just sent out an email on that one a few days back. I sent a couple that we moved the third call to next Monday because of a scheduling conflict. We want people to have a little bit of time to like actually digest and process stuff before we come back and review it. Otherwise, it's sort of like your fire hose and then done. And like we figured if you had some time to actually think through this stuff, then we come back the following Monday, it'll be preferable for you. So that is the game plan there. So I'm going to share my screen. This first part here, for the few people who are on Copy Accelerator, if you ended up, if you're on the training I did kind of talking about ad ideas, then it may seem a little familiar, but even if you are, there are going to be some new tweaks and elements to it. But let us jump in and look at it. So, okay, as far as like, I have Facebook ads framework here, but this really works for any type of ads, I promise you. I just titled it Facebook when I was making it. And really like the steps here, what we're doing are, and I'm gonna show you plenty of examples, of course, looking at like the actual landing page that you're, writing the copy for, looking at what the value proposition of the offer or the landing page that you're writing the ad copy for is, understanding the core demographic of, who you're speaking to, who your prospect is, what their kind of core demographic is, and what their core desire is. And then we're really looking at just our competitors and their ads. So we'll go into like the Facebook ads library. We'll look at VidTow. We'll look at what their value prop is based on their ads to the market. We'll kind of look at how we know if an ad's doing well or not and worth kind of copying their value prop, because that's sort of part of it. We'll look at what the market is actually asking. What questions does the market have? This will be with like direct questions that the market is asking, but also less direct questions that we can bridge and turn into ads. So it's a pretty cool approach here, and you'll see that. We'll write out a list of kind of hooks and ideas we have based on what we've done up above, and then we'll actually write ads. So this is my little process here. And I've got plenty of case studies and or examples in different niches. The first few of them I kind of have written out, so we'll go through, but I already sort of have it to give myself even a prompt to make this easy. But then we'll do some live where we don't have any of the information, and we'll do it together. Is there, Frank, anything you want me to add before I jump into actual examples of this?
No, dude, I'm stoked.
All right.
Just the value prop of offer. I think if I had to guess after running ads for a zillion people, is where a lot of stuff falls down. So please pay a lot of attention to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the first example we'll look at here is from Melissa Dillon, who's actually on the call. And she's a badass. She is doing bookkeeping and accounting services, well, helping bookkeepers and kind of accountants and financial professionals to get clients and grow their business. She's built a 7-figure business in that niche, which is super cool. And I had asked people when I was sort of figuring out how to do this training for some examples or what they were working on, and Alyssa raised her hand. So Alyssa, this should be like your good version of your landing page now. There's a funny story with this where she had a split test going and she didn't realize she did. So the first time I saw this page, it was like really crappy copy. And like I sort of was like judging her silently about it. And then like I saw this this version of it today.
That's the crappy copy.
Oh, it's back to the crappy copy.
So just refresh it and it should split test for you.
Okay. Let's see here. If not, I could go in incognito maybe or something. Oh, is that the better copy?
Yes, it is. That is the better
Okay.
copy, which
Okay.
you were never meant to see the other one. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I wasn't supposed to be running a split test. I have no idea why it's split testing. It is very bizarre. I have to look into it in the back end of my own ClickFunnels. I have no idea.
It's fine, but it's funny. So for everyone, again, she's actually speaking at the CA event, rockstar marketer, just incredible. I adore her. But like at her first version of this, I was just like, this is not very good. But okay, so this is this version of it. So okay, so if I'm looking at Alyssa's, and what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna pull this up as one screen and like have my little thing side by side with it here. So let's do that. Just over here. Right. Okay, so landing page, right? Pop that in there. It's this one here. So what's the value prop of the offer? What's to grow your business through content marketing, a practical, simple process to gain traction on social media, learn how to create compelling, engaging posts online to sign more clients in just 4 days, even if you're not a writer. And it's got, she's got this challenge here, and it's for financial professionals. So here's what'll go down during the challenge. You've got the magic messaging formula, learn the 7 components to create compelling messaging so you can win loyal fans that are begging to book a call with you. Day 2 is research, learn how pro copywriters in the digital marketing industry figure out what to write without filling out boring ideal client avatar sheets or crunchy mediation meditation practices. Day 3, platform optimization. Day 4, mastery day. And there's this challenge, reserve your spot. There's Alyssa with a cool hat on. Here's some social proof, all that kind of stuff. But if I'm just looking at this here, right, I'm like, all right, to me, the value prop is really like grow your bookkeeping or, kind of financial services business through content marketing, even if you're not a content writer or a copywriter or anything like that. To me, that's sort of what the value prop of this challenge is. Is that fair to say, Alyssa? Since you're on the call, actually, it's great. We can actually do this more live, which is fun.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is you can get clients using easy to use content prompts online using social media as a financial professional, which they really identify as like not good at marketing. And so there really should probably be more language around that now that I'm saying it out loud, like even if you are not good at marketing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, but that's cool. That's good. We've got the prop op, so we've got that. Demographic is clearly just knowing from the landing page, it's bookkeepers and financial professionals. Now, for all of you watching this, right, when you're running ads, you generally are going to know whether it's your own business, you know who your demo is, or if you're writing for a client, normally the client has sort of told you who their core demographic is, and you have that information. And then if you look at their like core market desire, at least what I would assume, right, more clients, better clients, and higher paying clients is sort of like what I would assume they want. And which is funny because if you go back to like, what's funny about saying like this is people get so caught up in the niche, but it's like whether we're talking about like accounting and financial professionals, or we're talking about coaches who coach coaches on how to coach coaches, or we're talking who coach coaches, yes, or
you have to have that third layer.
Yeah, like copywriting, right? Freelance copywriting, life coach. It's like really like it's always the same thing. It's like I want more clients, I want better clients, I want higher paying clients, right? And like those are, I mean, Frank, I'm sure you've seen the same thing. Like it's sort of just for people on that side of it. It's just like, and it doesn't really matter what you do. You could be a hairstylist, you can run a salon, you could do whatever. It's like I want more clients, doctors, and I stress that point because I think people get so like, well, that works for this, but I'm trying to help lawyers. I'm like, what do you think the lawyers want? They want more clients, right? It's sort of like there's these universals. So like when you are dissecting or breaking down copy, I just like to really emphasize that because don't get so caught in the niche. Like if something, some of the things are very broadly applicable across many sectors, right?
I think you've got a hidden little gold spot here with the 4 days deal. Like to me, that's one of the most compelling parts of this top of the fold copy, which is to get clients in 4 days.
Yeah.
Like,
can I actually say the reason I switched my 5-day challenge to a 4-day challenge is because Frank Kern, you did it. I watched you do it. You skipped a Monday for a challenge, and I never liked doing my challenges on Fridays. So I was like, well, if Frank can skip a Monday on his challenge, I should be able to skip a Friday. So I switched it from a 5-day to a 4-day, just simply because no one ever showed up on my 5th day anyways. So I was like, if I could make it work, and I did, it converts really well.
Oh, that's great. Obviously, the challenge itself is 4 days. The value prop is not, you're going to get clients within 4 days.
Right. Sign more clients in just 4 days.
Yeah. So can they like reasonably expect to get a new client or two over a 4-day period? Because if they can, like everything, that would be my leading flagship, messaging to the marketplace right there.
Yeah. So we've had people successfully, and I think we show that in some of our screenshots, where just by doing some updated messaging on their profiles, updated messaging in their branding, it gets them people raising their hand and saying, oh, I didn't realize you did that. And so it's we do like a call to action post on the first day, like who on my page right now is struggling with XYZ related to their niche, accounting, bookkeeping, whatever it is. Maybe I can support you today, right? Like that's day 1 of my challenge. It's the easiest prompt I can give them. And it sometimes actually leads to them booking a call and getting a client. So yes, it does actually work that well.
Cool. Okay. I'm putting that in the old slightly defective brain for copy tweaking later and the ads and stuff, because that's a good angle. Like more clients is great, but more clients in 4 days is even more great.
Yeah, that nice little timeline on it. I agree. Good catch there, Frank. Cool. So, and but I love how interactive this is. Super fun. So okay, like what am I gonna do now if I'm like Alyssa in this case, because she's here, right? Well, I'm gonna just go look at what my competitors are doing. I know I'd ask Alyssa, we'll get to in a minute. What do you know if you don't know who your competitors are, or like how do you find more? What do you do? But in this case, I know there's a couple people like Andrew Hunziker. So let's open up ads library for him, one of the competitors here. So if you all don't know how to use ads library, I will do that real quick. I mean, I think lots of you on the call do, right? But you just basically go to facebook.com/ads/library, right? And then you've got, I feel like people should actually use this more often, Frank. I don't know how much you use it, but I feel like it's like a search engine for like ads. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. And so even if I didn't know, like I've got Andrew here and I'll come back to him, but like there's also like I could just sort of be like like I don't know, I can just type in like accountants, right? And like there's some sort of specific suggestions. So I could just search like accountants, like broad keyword, right? And see like what shows up here. It's Eccentrics Business Advisors of Gwinnett. I don't know what the F that is. But like if I keep scrolling through, like you may find some sort of interesting stuff here. So I don't want to hammer on this too much, but like you can keep going for a long time and find like really interesting stuff. And in this case, you'll find like bookkeepers and also people who are trying to help people provide professional services. But you can mess with the keyword too, right? Like there's accounts for small business, but I don't really want that. I want like I could try like grow my accounting practice. I don't know. Let's just try that real quick and I'll get back to what I had there, right? Keep a balanced bookkeeping here. CPA moms. Have you heard of them before, Melissa? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I have.
This is kind of interesting. Let's see this. I'll make it bigger for everyone so they can see, right? Almost every CPA as a mom I've worked with has been told they have to sacrifice family time in order to have a successful career. When you open your own firm, you decide your schedule, workload, and income. I've helped dozens of women across the country start their own accounting firm and be there for every motherhood moment they otherwise would have missed. They get to watch their kids grow up without sacrificing their career. I'll teach you exactly how to get started in my new book. You can have a family and a firm. Get it for just a few bucks here. So that's kind of interesting. That's one to me where I'm like immediately like, all right, let me save that. And actually, if I click on them, is that give me their Facebook page? It is, but I would actually pull them up in that. Are they decent size? Are they like small? Like, what do you know about them as a competitor?
Yeah, she has a pretty decent sized group. I don't think they're quite as the size that I am. At least last time I looked into them, I probably haven't done as much recent market research.
Yeah, that's cool. Just curious. And I do find like too, like one thing I'll look at is let me save this to my list here. So that's like, so for example, I'm gonna put them up top. So one of my competitors are CPA moms. And then that's like the ads library, right? So basically the reason I want to do this for people as we're watching is like I want to go in and sort of just find like, because from them alone, I want to find ads and hooks and ideas and things like that, right? That might work here. So like this alone, I mean, I don't know, Alyssa, how much in your ads are you talking about, sort of like the family aspect of it? I know you talk about being a mom and stuff like that, right? But like to me, I'm immediately like, oh, can you do some ads to kind of compete with her value prop, or you could incorporate this, right? Like stuff around like sort of like, like what if you could get a new client in the next 4 days while actually spending, more quality time with your kids, right? Stuff like that. Like immediately I'm like, oh, there you go. There's some ways to kind of like maybe like why not try some ads to call out like, parents and moms and things of that nature. And I don't know if you do that or not, but like this is why I like coming to like the ads library and starting to kind of mess around in here.
Yeah, we definitely do. Because of my story, the reason I started my outsourced accounting firm was to stay home with my kids. And so
Right.
it's really based on like this 3-day work schedule where I built my firm in a way that I was able to work 3 days a week and spend the rest of the time. And it was flexible with my kids. And we use a lot of like imagery of like me with like baby wearing and stuff like that. So we do try to incorporate that to capture that audience.
Cool. So for everyone else watching, a couple other notes I want to share. one thing I'll start looking at is like, these are a lot of new ad sets that started running today, right? On August 8th has multiple versions. So I'm kind of like I'm looking at, okay, what are they testing? Well, like the same image but different copy here, or different value props. But one thing I would look for is like, if we go back through their history and there's ads from, before August 8th, which apparently there's not. Apparently they just started running ads today on the 8th. I don't know if it's like actually loading everything, but
There's something going on with the Facebook. It's defective today.
perfect. That's the perfect time for that to happen. Is
Yeah,
is when we're doing a training on Facebook ads. It'll be the perfect time. But regardless of that, so what the point to me as to make, right, is if we go back and like one of these ads or some of these ads, you're seeing the same copy in like July and in June, or like very similar. What you'll tend to see is like the same value propositions again and again and again. So if you're seeing that and like a lot of ads over a long period of time, then you start to be like, all right, well, clearly this value proposition is like working for them if they keep coming back to it and they keep running it, right? Or sometimes it's the exact same ad, but like usually you'll find that there's like certain things that like they keep saying, right? So in this case, let me pull them over here for a second. And like, let me pull back up my little framework here, right? Okay, so we'll go back to these other competitors in a minute, but like, what are the value props here? So these are from some of the other people, but like, let's do some for the CPA moms as well here. So like, CPA moms. Okay, like, I'm sorry, right, smart. Spend more time with, your family and less time building someone else's practice, right? I don't know why that got tiny on me. That's great too. You can be a successful CPA without spending 60 to 80 hours per week. Launch your own firm and work. I cannot spell today. Firm, solid.
That's the new way to spell it. I just looked it up.
Thank you for confirming that.
Yeah.
From home, right? Really ultimately, like, right, like you can have a family and a firm, right? Okay, cool. And then let's look at another one here. This is one we looked at before. Start your own firm and be there for every motherhood moment. I mean, it's very specific to moms here, but why not? But they're like, start your own firm and be there for every motherhood moment. Watch your kids grow up without sacrificing your career. Watch your kids grow up without sacrificing your. I cannot spell. It's crazy. You think I'm sacrificing your career. And let's look at one more here. See, this is what I'm talking about here, though. So see how it's like this is basically almost this is the same ad, right? But with a different image, so you can tell they're just testing. Well, if I was going back through like July and June and stuff like that, and I was seeing this like same ad then too, then I'm like, okay, this one really, seems to do well for them, and like, and I would be, wanting to borrow from that. Because what I'm trying to do here is, as I'm going through like these different competitors and things like that, like I want to look at their their messaging, and I want to take that and use it to get ideas for how I can do my messaging, right? So, really like. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on with that. Let's look at another example or two, and then I'll show you some other places besides ads and manager that we'll go look at. So here's Andrew Hunziker.
Should we speak ill of him because he's a competition? Never cared for him personally.
Fucking Hunziker, guy's the worst.
Just awful.
Classic.
He's like one of my best friends in the industry.
Well, you know what? That's just a bad judge of character right there, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Never met this dude, by the way, for the
his
record. Probably the
company
nicest guy in the world.
He's dope CFO, so he is like cannabis.
Oh yeah,
accounting.
That's funny. I have them on YouTube actually. It's funny. For you, I have this link down here from it. So yeah, that dope CFO is really cool because they're sort of doing their value prop is, hey, you need to find a niche, like, well, the cannabis industry is like is exploding and like doing really well, so like come work in the cannabis niche and you'll make way more money and stuff like that. What's funny? I saw their ads and I'm like, dope CFO. I'm like, that's kind of unprofessional. Like, I don't know if they're, I don't know if they're gonna be like dope. That seems, and I'm like, oh, it's actually for cannabis. I'm like, so that's actually a really great name. He's smart. So yeah.
I've made my entire name for myself in the industry because I curse and I show up with hoodies on, and I'm so far away from what the accounting industry normally looks like that it's like you can be what isn't, considered professional, but I do get what you're saying. So
yeah, well, I mean, I was right. I just had the impression of like dope CFO, and I'm like, oh, is that really like a good name? And then I realized it was for a weed, but I'm not saying I'm right. But let's look at Andrew's stuff. Let's see how far this goes back to. Okay, cool. This one goes back all the way for a long time here. So, okay, so what are some of his value props here? Let's see from August 1st. What does it take to really, what does it take to really take to build? Okay, cool. Well, I wonder if maybe these ads didn't work so well here. The old typo thing. Liz said, how do we eliminate wannabe ads and only model on the successful? Good question. So I have multiple thoughts on this. One thing is that really ultimately, and then Frank, I want your thought too, but like as a media in today's age, like day and age with buying ads on Facebook and stuff, you just have to test a high volume of ads. That's been my experience of everyone who's doing volume is you've just got to test a ton of stuff. So from my perspective, it almost is not relevant. It's not exactly like swiping like in copy where you're only swiping stuff that works. It's more like looking at the stuff to just end up with like a lot of ideas for ads that we can create. And then no matter what, we're going to have to test like, numerous ads because we just don't know. I mean, usually targeting these days is like not very, it's very broad. If you're not working for offline businesses, from my experience, it's like, you're basically just targeting everybody and you're just throwing a ton of ads there. Now there's, I'm sure exceptions, and Frank again is way more of a media buyer than me. But that's one part of it, Liz. And then the other part is kind of what I mentioned before. If you keep going through their sort of ads library and you see sort of similar messaging happening again and again and again, and they're successful in your space, then you can generally guess that that's messaging is probably proven and it is kind of working. Frank, anything you want to add to my answer, or like correct me and say I'm a dum-dum or anything like that?
No, it's everything's about data, like our opinions and emotions around whether or not an ad should work or whether or not the copy is good are completely irrelevant, and nothing compares to just cold hard numbers. So yeah, Stefan's right. You test a lot, but typically I'll test like 2, and then like one of them will work, and I'll just keep running that thing forever. And that's kind of because I'm lazy and awful. So a giveaway, kind of a giveaway that an ad's working is if the competitor is a direct response competitor, meaning they're not a brand advertiser, it's like Coca-Cola or whatever, and you keep seeing the damn thing running, that's a pretty good indicator that the ad's working. But a lot of times it's not necessarily the ad. Like at the beginning of Stefan's worksheet, there's the ad, there's the value proposition, there's the landing page, there's the email, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, data is the answer, which is great because it's infallible. It's like you just remove all emotion and expectation from this whole equation, everything becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. As a quick aside, which is funny because I didn't actually do it, but for the upsell, the Rainmaker thing, that was the upsell for this. I'm like talking to Frank and I'm like, hey, like, should we try and like do a video, like a VSL version, or like we're not in the same town, so like that might be tough, or should I just do a letter? I'm like, and then Frank's like, why don't we split test it like marketers? And I was like, oh wow, Frank, like that, you're like, you mean actually be a real marketer and just split test it? Like,
never gonna work.
The hell, crazy man, Frank Kern.
Yeah.
So unless I see more of this, like, what is it double take? I just dislike this typo, and I'm guessing that probably hurt their conversion. So though you never know, it may not have, because it could be that somebody had to reread it and then they ended up actually slowing down and reading the whole ad. So again, going back to like data is the answer to everything. You never know, right? So let's look at it. You don't need to work 80 hours a week for dozens of clients. You don't need to discount your services to be the cheapest in town. You don't need any advanced degree or letters behind your name. In fact, many of the most successful bookkeepers I work with have less clients, work less hours, and earn fees 5x to 20x more than what the average bookkeeper does. So if I come back down to value props here, I don't have those, I think, right here, and I should because they're solid. So let me write some of those down here for Andrew, right? How do you spell his last name? It doesn't matter. I'll get it later, but Andrew, dope, CFO. And I will share a copy of this with everybody, right? So, okay, like, you don't need to work 80 hours a week for dozens of clients. You don't need, and I could obviously copy and paste that stuff into here, but I'm typing it for whatever reason, your services.
Looks cool.
Actually, yeah, and you know what, honestly, then I feel like I remember yeah, but it also like it gets in my brain better when I hand type it out. Like I'm not like a big handwrite sales letters guy, right? Where it's like, you gotta like, if you'll be a great copywriter, get these sales letters, write them by hand. I've never done that, but I will go through if I'm writing copy and my competitor's stuff, and I'll just type it up. I'll like hand transcribe, or I'll type a transcription of a video, for example, because like then I'm having to spend the time really thinking about it and processing it a bit. So sitting here, right? You don't need any advanced degree of letters behind your name. That's a good question for Theo on the emojis. I feel like, again, obviously testing them, I do like emojis in my ads, and I usually will throw them in there. But it also depends on the market. If I was talking to a market where like emojis just aren't like common, or like it's a more stuffy market, you might still test emojis to see if it's a pattern interrupt, or if like kind of like what Alyssa was talking about with like her being like a hoodie and cussing, or this guy being, the dope CFO. It could work, but it could be that the market doesn't respond. I don't know. I put emojis in my stuff for the most part. Frank, what about you? Are you the same way, or no? I don't know if you're a big emoji guy.
No, I'm like the opposite ad guy with Facebook. I'm 2 sentences a lot of times. Like sometimes I'll get a little fancy, but generally speaking, it's 2 sentences.
Yeah.
That's a lot of that has to do with laziness, and then I'm coming up with reasons to make it sound like it's an intelligent decision. But y'all will you can be the judge if it sounds like it's a legitimate reason or not later.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to get into that, because that's what was kind of one of the most unique things about what we're doing here. So I'm gonna go through this whole thing and show you all examples and stuff like that. But at the same time, like then Frank's like version's gonna be like, you don't need to write like a essay of an ad, which is really cool. So okay, have less clients, work less hours, and earn fees 5x to 20x more than what the average bookkeeper does. All right. I want to keep things moving along. So I think you're all getting the point here. I mean, I don't want to go too fast, but I want to see, what do you see? A lot of it is like income versus hours here. Ooh, this is interesting. Let's see. Let me read this one real quick
Work
here.
less and make more.
Yeah, work less. Shocking that, no one's ever
yes.
Use that as a value prop before. So yeah, is your income? Let me do this side too, because it looks interesting to me. So all right, bookkeepers hourly rates have plummeted the last decade. Some industry leaders. That's not a value prop. Honestly, it's just interesting to me, so I'm making a note of it. Considering the crises. And by the way, because I would almost highlight this, really just me, to be completely honest with you all, what I would do, as I'd be like, SPG, like, can we take some angles like attacking bookkeepers on Upwork and other freelance platforms, right? That's sort of an idea I have, right? Because once I'm seeing that, I'm like, ooh, it might be interesting to be like, is like Upwork killing the bookkeeping industry, right? Like death of the bookkeeping industry, question mark. Right, like there's so many things you could start doing like based on that one sentence that like, and this is like really like not like, it's not like a factory machine, but it's like if you just like look at your competitors' ads and just take the time to look at them, I feel like you can just get so many ideas like from that alone. If you just key one on this stuff like that. He's got the free training, earn hundreds of hours of bookkeeper. I'm gonna put that as more of a value prop, right? Earn hundreds an hour as a bookkeeper. And let's look at these 4 key skills any bookkeeper can use to build a 6-figure practice from anywhere in the world. How to use VIP to become a respected authority in any niche you want to work in. The soft skills that are even more important than any letter behind your name. In 30 minutes, you'll learn the skills to justify almost any price for your future clients. Okay, I'm gonna copy paste that. See, to click on that stuff, doesn't matter. And then listen, basically all this stuff though, this guy's ultimately just trying to get people to become a CFO in the cannabis industry, right? With all his ads, he can't talk about cannabis on Facebook, so he's sort of, which is also its own good lesson, because people go back to like, what, I can't talk about cannabis on Facebook, so I can't advertise on Facebook, and it's like, really? Because you can't be like creative, you know what I mean? You can't like find ways to Like you would never know this guy's running, like, you know, this whole thing is just to get people to like become cannabis CFOs. It's like with dating, by the way, right? There's a guy who I remember, like, you know, it got impossible to run dating on Facebook and Instagram, but there's this dude who was like teaching people like magic, but all the magic tricks for just him with like super hot girls, and he's like doing tricks, and they're like, wow, and it was like all about like, you know, learn magic and, you know, be more likable and social and have less social anxiety. And it was like so clearly like that it was really secretly the guy was trying to teach like other guys how to be pickup artists and dating, but he was using magic. And I was like, this is actually so smart. And that crushed it. It ran for a long time. It was so smart because like, you know, I don't think the guy gave a shit about magic, right? This is like, how can I actually get, you know, but all the videos and the images were showing the outcome that like his market wanted, which goes back to the importance of the image creative or the ad creative too. So smart, honestly. So much of like success in this field, not to start rambling, Frank, but it's just so much of it is just being a little bit creative and thinking outside the box and like being a problem solver, you know? Like this guy selling cannabis accounting, but like looks like it's just like the CFO bookkeeper, the dating guy pretending he's selling a magic program. So I love it. All right. So coming back to the sheet here, right? So we've got a bunch of these value props here, but like, so I would do the same thing with Facebook ads library. I'd go through more stuff. I would then go to like VidTal. If you all don't use VidTal, it's going to show you like what's working on YouTube. So it's a really nice tool. So we open up VidTal here, put it over to this side.
Their pricing's crazy. I mean, it's exorbitant. Free.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
free.
who do they think they are?
Free.
You
It's the
know,
worst.
gouging
It's
us.
super free, just like
Yeah.
the worst. Yeah, VidTal is free. So for anyone watching who doesn't use VidTal, it's worth it. And basically it's gonna show you top videos and stuff like that. So if we do like I think I did like accountants, which is actually how I found Dope CFO originally here. So I'll make this bigger for everyone again. This is an insurance claim tip. Oh yeah, by the way, then I usually try and sort it by the view count. Like VidTal is not going to give you like, you know, it's not the perfect solution, but it's worth checking out, right? Because some of these this is for small businesses. This one was interesting. It's to be a certified like a marketing person, but I might play this one real quick because it's really short.
CMA stands for Certified Managerial Accountant.
That's what it is. Yeah. So if you watch this ad, let me see. I don't know. I have to like adjust the settings so y'all can hear the. Let me make sure that you can hear the sound. Let me hit play and then let's see. Can you guys hear this or no? No. Okay. No problem. I forget what I have to do. I have to like go to like I think it's a setting in here.
Sacrifice a couple goats, I think, and then burn a
Sure.
candle.
That's
You're supposed to do that at midnight, and so I think you're late. Yeah.
All right.
When
I
you're
think
a
this is gonna-
certified management accountant, CEOs will do
Sacrifice
whatever
all
it
that.
takes to get you on their team.
I want to hire you.
I want to hire you more.
Because they know the value of someone who can turn information into insights. So take the first step toward becoming a CMA today and see how it feels to be fought over by the best in the business.
So I would say this one's not really that relevant though, because it's more for people who just want to be hired by somebody. And Alyssa's niche here is more about like actually like you know, getting like growing and getting clients on their own and stuff like that. This one here, right? Accountants get ready for the future of accountancy.
Dude, look how old that is too. It's 400 million or 400,000 views. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's pretty good. So I don't think it's gonna be even very long. Let's just see if it's anything good on this one.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really tell you a whole lot, but you know, music was
That's no
good.
good.
That was no good. This one I think is from Dope CFO, I believe. Let's see it. We'll do this one here. Is it?
Sharon is a CPA who was struggling to find a niche. She wanted to find a place to grow and reach her goal of 100K a year, which would be a dream come true. She didn't find it. She found something far better. A niche that is going to make her $1.2 million this year. And everything she needed to find clients in this niche and serve them was given to her by Dope CFO, because we are doing something incredibly simple. We have seen the huge demand for financial services in the new green rush. And we also know that there are so many financial professionals like Sharon who have all the talent. All they need is the knowledge and tools for this exciting new industry. It's that simple. The demand is there, dope CFOs simply enable anyone to meet it. In fact, their system is so good that even IRS enrolled agents like Damon Elmayer, who had already been working in this industry, found all their systems, spreadsheets, and training completely transformed how he helped his clients. And this isn't just some over-the-top claim we can't back up. That's why we've set up a free training to get into the details. We'll explain exactly what's in our program and why there's such a big opportunity here to grow your business with amazing clients from across the country. We've been featured in places such as Forbes and the Wall Street Journal, as well as having
Good ad.
worked with multiple.
I mean, I don't have to watch the whole thing, but like, kind of interesting what they have here. So, I mean, to be honestly, for me, like, depending on the ads we're doing, if I was trying to do a YouTube ad or YouTube ads list, I would look at them and try and then I would go to like their channel, right, and see what other like which you can go to through here and see what other kind of like videos and content they're running. And that actually is the other example I was going to make here is like the other thing I think you can look at for ad ideas is if you actually just go to YouTube itself, and I put here like grow my accounting business. Side note, I'm gonna start getting retargeted with like so much shit about like growing my accounting business now. So worst part, like back in 2014, 15, when I was like, you know, a black hat copywriter, and I was like writing for like, you know, like herpes be gone and stuff like that. But then I would be searching this stuff. So then like my like Google, like, and this is the early days of retargeting, you know, where like anything went on Facebook and stuff. So I'd be like sitting there, like talking to like some like, you know, like a girl I met at like a bar, if like Laura and I were not together at that time or whatever. And like, you know, point my phone and retargeting, be like, have herpes, like this can help. And I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing. Let me go over to here, you know, and then it would be like, you know, what to do about foot fungus, like click here. And I'm like, no, I'm a copywriter. I'm looking this stuff up. And it was horrible. So fun little side story for people. But
I only have one herpes. Just
yeah,
one.
yeah, just one herpes.
It's not even a big one. It's slaves of this dormant herpes just hanging
You know
out.
what's funny is I've used that as an example of like really, you know, like the most cringy type of shit you could see. And then like for years now, I'm like herpes be gone. I never actually wrote like a herpes be gone thing. It's an example of like a super cringy thing. But in my email, I'm on all these like email lists now to get like, and then so lately I've been getting like emails with the front name like herpes be gone. And I'm like, fuck, did somebody hear me say that and think it was like a good idea? Or like it's just terrible. It's very cringy. But basically what I would do here, right, is I think you could look through like, all right, how to grow your accounting firm. Like honestly, the same thing where you could sort by views on these. And then if you find one that's got like thousands and thousands of views and it's something that's really relevant to like what your market wants, because all these are lower, right? Just how to grow an accounting business, how to grow your firm, 10 ways to grow your bookkeeping business. You know, I wouldn't even care, you could watch the videos, but honestly, even if you like just look for titles of content here, you know, you might start getting ideas for more ads there. And that's really just like as simple as it gets. Same thing with forums. I don't know if there's really forums for like bookkeeping professionals who want to like freelance. So there's forums for getting clients. So, which I'll show that in a little bit too. But let me kind of keep the ball moving around here, so I don't want to like bore people to death. I know we're taking a long time on one example. I was planning on doing like 10 examples. So I feel like I should probably keep the ball rolling here. So, but yeah, basically as I'm going through the different like, you know, competitors things on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that, I'm really just writing out where all the value props are here. Right. I know this is like just getting like a free like hour-long like breakdown of her niche. So she's like that was $397 well spent. You know, so like, okay, right, like spent more time with your family, you know, and less time building someone else's practice. You don't have to spend 60 to 80 hours a week. In a week, launch your own firm, work flexibly from home. You know, you can have family in a firm, start your own firm, be there for every motherhood moment. You don't have to work 80 hours a week. Less clients, work less hours, earn higher fees. I like this again as a potential angle. That would be like an idea or hook I would play with here. Build a 6-figure practice from anywhere in the world. Become a respected authority in 30 minutes is a big one for this one. There's a time frame. You know, working from home, switch to monthly retainers, offer unique services. This was another person on there. A lot of them talk about little experience, which is always important too. Okay, so the next place I'm going to go here is Answer the Public, which some of you may use. Now, it used to be like pretty like much free, and I guess Neil Patel just acquired it. I didn't know that, but I saw an email from him that said why I acquired Answer the Public. So like now, like you get several free searches a day, and then you have to pay for more searches. So it's like a semi-free. I'm on the pro plan now, I guess, whatever.
Gotcha.
But if you
Gotta
haven't
watch
used
'em.
Answer, classic. But Frank, have you used Answer the Public before? Do you know what this is?
No, I haven't used. I think I've heard about it, but you know, I just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks, and then whenever it works, I'm like, I knew it was going to work. I'm smart.
Like, I am a genius.
Yeah.
I'll move this bar out of my way here. Get out of my way, bar. Okay, so should pull this over this one here. So I want to have two things up side by side here. Okay, so like, right. So what what I could do is basically you ask a question in here, and then it'll basically tell you all of the search terms that people have been searching or asking for, right? So for example, we have accounting, like we could try like, grow my accounting practice. I don't know if that's so specific. Let's try that. What we're gonna get, but let's try it. Search. All right, give it a minute, right? It's seeking for us here.
If you do that, sometimes it works faster. See?
Yeah. And then by the way, it shows us a visualization, which is like sexy, but frankly, I think really impractical. So I just go to this, right? So like, and it does it by like by words, right? So grow my accounting practice podcast. Even to me, that's actually kind of interesting though, because I'd be like, is there a podcast angle you could take or something like that? Or maybe if you've been featured on a podcast, could you run that as an ad or talk about it? We'll see.
I was
Right.
actually featured on the podcast Grow My Accounting Practice by Mike Michalowicz. So
Yeah, people are searching for that. So is it possible where you could like run an ad or a clip from you on that podcast or things like that, right? Immediately there's some ideas there. Can I teach myself accounting? I mean, you're not going after people who are that green, I don't think, right, Alyssa? So we'll skip them. How to grow your CPA practice, grow my accounting practice. It's really the same. This one seems like it's not making it look as sexy as this thing actually is, because it's really pretty the same search again and again. But this is where I would go to like, okay, what about like, like how to get clients, right? Because like everyone wants clients, so including your people who are running a CPA practice and struggling or saying they're searching, how to get clients. Right. So let's try that one here. Give it a minute to do its weird calculations. Why this thing loves coming to this side every time. Okay, so back to here. How do you get clients from real estate, clients from the USA? That would be interesting. I might wonder if you have a pain point of like people like they're doing lead gen, but a lot of the clients are from like, or the prospects are from overseas and like not like, good fits or something like that. So I might like make a note for that, right? I'd be making notes of this stuff here, like just gonna be curious. I would have done the podcast one, right? What was that one called again, Alyssa? How to grow my accounting practice podcast?
it's called Grow My Accounting Practice.
I just make a note of that, right? How can I get clients from USA? Now again, I don't know if that's actually a pain point or not. I'm just making it because it's kind of interesting. If it is a pain point, you could research that. How can I get clients fast? I like that. I mean, how can I get clients fast? Instagram, maybe depending on your market, could even be just, basically like how to get clients online. For my recruitment agency, aka someone trying to do MLM, probably. How to get clients for digital marketing. This was actually really funny to me, Frank. Like I see this a lot where it's like how to get clients for my social media marketing agency, how to get clients for my like, social media agency. I'm like, but you're gonna go out and sell this service, but like, shouldn't you be able to use that to get clients? It kind of kills me.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it's my bad. Facebook, where to get clients for freelance, where to get clients for real estate, how to get clients for insurance. Let's go to propositions here. Ways to get clients. Why is it so hard to get clients? How do I, how do I convince a client? How do you convince a client to give you money? Anyway, if I'm going through this, like there's usually how to get customers without advertising. I mean, that could be, are they going to be broke asses if they're searching this? Maybe, but still, sometimes people we think are broke will actually shell for a solution.
Without
right?
stuff.
Yeah, that's actually very
That's a
interesting.
bunch of gold there.
Yeah. Right. How to get clients without advertising. Because to me, like these are only basically all like prompts we can work with, right? I'm gonna do without social media too. Advertising, social media. Comparisons. How to get clients on Facebook for Yahoo. Probably people in cleaning businesses really need help getting clients. How to get clients for digital marketing. All right, so wait, there's a treasure trove here. Let me do one more example, which was like content marketing. I just want to see how it's different. So let me do that search real quick here. Content marketing to get clients. So I gather this data here. Yeah, Ian, I like your observation because Ian said it seems like good copywriting is like 90% research. Interesting. I actually really think that's the case. I don't really even think I'm like that good of a writer. I think I'm fine as a writer, but I think I'm better at not being lazy and taking the time to just go like research like what my market's doing, what they're asking for, what they're looking for, what their pain points are, you know, what my competitors are doing. Like I'm really, and it's funny because that's the part I like. I don't even like when I write something, I can have fun with it, or I write some great sentence, or like the what was it, two marketers, one comp thing that I had in the sales letter for Frank and I, which is sort of like, I'm like, ha ha ha. Like I like that, but like really like, you know, like it's like this is the stuff that I actually really enjoy is like uncovering it. And it makes it so much easier, right? It's almost like the lazy mark. We've been on this call for realistically about 45 minutes. We've been doing this and we're taking a long time on this first example, but like, you know, so people don't want to do it because like, oh, like this could take so long, but it's like really like 45 minutes or like an hour, and you can have so much stuff that like you just like it actually would save you, you know, 10 hours of like of kind of trying to come up with ideas on your own, right? So does content marketing work? How do marketing agencies get clients? Where to find marketing clients? How to get client marketing agent? There's a lot of client marketing agency stuff here.
So if I were trying to come up with angles for that, the does content marketing really work thing would be a huge one.
Yeah, literally just asking that question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And then I would test a statement, which is I did content marketing for a month and nothing happened. And then, you know,
Love
the
that.
ad would lead to a landing page that said, here's why. So you just state the frustration.
Love that. More with Alice here. Okay, cool. So I kind of like that we're doing, here's the thing too, I'll tell people who are on this is like, this is sort of like a niche thing, but we're still getting a lot of stuff here. So if you're in like the supplement space or like a broader coaching space or like really a lot of other like less niches, so to speak, this is even easier, but you can see this was something pretty niche, like how to like get, you know, more clients for your bookkeeping and accounting firm. And we still have like a ton of stuff we're uncovering here. So like, you know, imagine applying it to like, you know, again, like supplements or even financial. Like I know Aaron Brobman, I know you're on here, right? So you're helping, I don't know, I'm hoping to say, right? You're working with a big dog in the financial space, I'll put it that way, right? But it's like you go in here and like, you know, like I'm gonna diverge for 1 second because I think it's worthwhile, right? Like you're like, you know, how do I like retirement mistakes, right? Like because you're doing the financial and investment thing, right? There's gonna be so much shit that comes up here just from this alone that would give you so many ad ideas and angles and hooks to see what people are searching for, right? Like how to retire with enough money. You know, really just like literally using Answer the Public is like probably just gonna be worth a fortune to you, right? As you call it, different angles and hooks and ideas. And like again, I know I'm not trying to diverge on everyone else, but like because I'm not gonna probably go through all these examples on this call, and I can always record some in the future or like whatever, because I do want to make sure people can see different niches. But like even here, like, you know, retirement mistakes, biggest retirement mistakes. Is it a mistake to retire early? Like, you know, let's keep going here. Most common mistakes, mistakes to avoid, down to the. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it's become more repetitive, this tool, than it used to be. I wonder if Neil Patel's fucked it up. Because it was like, there's still like the withouts are good here. Is it a mistake? Forbes, blunders. Actually, I like the word blunders, even as a copywriter. I mean, I wonder if you're like trying to test a new word, you can throw in blunders, right? I think as simple as that might be good.
It's still so easy though, like early retirement mistake, the whole angle could be thinking of retiring, you might be doing it too early. Click here to learn how to know, or not learn how to know, but click here to learn when it makes sense to retire.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
That was
Yeah.
like 4 sentences, so I kind of went overboard.
That's for you a lot, you know. It's funny
very
how Forbes
verbose.
keeps coming up here. And they got alphabetical. 7 retirement mistakes to avoid. I should have gone to here earlier. Retirement annuity mistakes. See, this is how I think they reorganized this a little bit because I think they had more gold up above, but like literally like these are like add 5 retirement mistakes to avoid. Like retirement gone wrong is interesting, right? Like tips to maximize retirement. 5 critical retirement investing mistakes to avoid. Top 10 retirement investing mistakes. So like literally I'm just like this, and again, this is just one phrase, like one keyword. But if you go through this stuff, like you have so many ad ideas just between this.
Retirement gone wrong, dude. Like I feel like I don't want to do it because I don't want to really do anything, but I bet that someone who's good at buying media on like Taboola and Outbrain and all those native networks could come up with an advertorial telling the story. That'd have to be a true story. You have to find out, the story of someone's retirement plan going wrong, and then link to a good financial planner. I bet that would crush.
Yeah, that could crush. I like totally agree. That's kind of interesting. Retirement planning blunders for the middle class. Weird phrasing, but there's something to that here. 6 retirement ready mistakes 60-year-olds commonly make. I mean, there's just so much good stuff in here. And again, you can do investing, like there's a million things. So I love Answer the Public here. So when I was going through for Alyssa's thing originally, prior to this call, I already had stuff around like, because I get the 4 days thing. Frank, it's funny you said that because that's the first one that came like get better clients in 4 days without spending a penny on ads. And so the penny on ads thing actually goes back to Answer the Public and like how to like, get more clients with like, without spending money on social media or whatever it is, right? Getting clients for social media. Can social media marketing really help my business? I think I got this researching social media, get more clients from social media. Kind of that, will bookkeepers be obsolete? Oh yeah, one I thought of was like, will AI replace bookkeepers? I think that one just came to me while I was like writing stuff, and I'm like, that could be really interesting because like, people are always afraid of AI. And then I would go back to some of the stuff I had before, right? Like kind of I can copy paste stuff into this basically, right? Like this is an exact headline, but that idea, right? And then what was the one I had up here, right? That like something like Upwork. This isn't the headline, but it's Upwork killing the bookkeeping profession. The other thing I would also think about is always like topical stuff, like a recession, right? Like, will like bookkeepers be safe in a recession, right? Like, which you can do for anything, right? Will copywriters be safe in a recession? Will media buyers be safe? How will a recession, impact bookkeeping jobs or getting clients as a bookkeeper or copywriting jobs or hair salons or tattoo artists or literally anything, right? Let's put like, how will whatever do in a recession, right? That's going to crush for anybody like for the next 6 months or whatever it is. And then if we're in a recession, you can still tweak it and play more of it, right? So if I was like doing like a list is here, I really have like a headline, which I could put down below here, but like even saying simple as like more clients in the next 4 days, right? Like body copy, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars to grow your bookkeeping business each month. Instead, I'll show you an easier way to get more high quality clients in the next 4 days. And the best part is you don't need to spend a penny on ads, hire an overpriced social media agency, spend hours online creating content, get distracted from your core business, click the learn more button to see how it works now. And I have another headline option, no BS blueprint for getting clients on social media. Right. But if you actually look at like all the stuff we had up there, it's just kind of like a combination of everything we looked through already, where it's like people, I in this case, I honed in on like the 4 days thing like Frank did. And then it was like, some of the other ads in the ads library talked about not spending like, thousands of dollars to grow your bookkeeping business each month. I'll answer as you saying in a second here. And it's about getting high quality clients. Now, if I was running more ads though, I mean, honestly, I would hone in on less hours, working less hours and making more money as well as I could do that. You know what I mean? So like, let's just do this too, because we're going to honestly focus mostly on this one. I'll quickly run through another example or two and I won't get to Frank's stuff. And I can always do some more of these examples. Frankly, the next call tomorrow, like we can always use a couple more examples to use the framework and go faster on it at the beginning of that call. But like, all right, let's think through. Actually, I'm gonna do this in like a separate doc because it'll be easier for me. It's part of my process. So give me 1 second here. So pull up like a little Word doc and put it side by side here. So like, okay, let's go back to the value props here from some of these other people, like more time with your family. And let's actually look at one more time what was like Alyssa's original value prop, right? Grow your financial business through content marketing, and really like as Frank pointed out, and get I would say get more clients and get clients in the next 4 days. To get clients in the next 4 days. So like, how would I do this here? If I was going to come in here, I mean, honestly, I would consider just stealing from Andrew, right? Like, what if you could get a new, at least one new high quality bookkeeping client in the next 4 days. Even better, like, what if I could show you the way to land that client while actually working fewer hours than you are right now. Like, it might sound crazy. Honestly, I mean, again, I'm gonna start doing this off the cuff, like, hey, I'm Alyssa, with, I forget your company name, Alyssa Tessero with company. And while that might sound too good to be true, the truth is, over the past X years, I've helped Y bookkeepers, accountants, and bookkeepers, accounts, to grow their practices, bring in generate better, lower maintenance, better paying clients, and regain their freedom. Like, I don't know if I can use warned in my case vocabulary. I'd just be warned, like, following the advice I want to share can lead to a significantly more time, more free time to spend with your spouse, kids, your spouse and kids. And you may even end up actually loving your work, and jumping out of bed with a smile each morning. Want to know more? Click the actually, I'm interested. Click the learn more button now to see just how to see my proven system for getting a new client in the next. How many hours does that be? 24. I can do math. 48. Next 96 hours. In the next. So I have to say 4 days again. In the next 96 hours. Right. So there's like an ad. Like, it's not like the world's best ad ever written, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like it's not bad. But again, it all just came from like what I got from looking at the competitors stuff and things like that, right? And then like a headline for this one, right? Because we want to like focus more on like the sort of clients working fewer hours. I do something like I honestly really like the 4 hour. I would probably keep getting the 4 days thing, like get a new client in the next 4 days while working half the hours. You know what I mean, something like that, like maybe my little headline for it. As far as emojis, you could do something like just be warned. You could always use this bullets could lead to : significantly more free time to spend for your spouse and kids, and have a little check mark there. Actually loving your work and jumping out with a smile each morning could be another bullet point for little emoji. So you could do it like bullet points too. You don't have to do it this way here. But like really, like that's just one idea, right? If I look at this again, I'm like, all right, building someone else's practice. I could have a thing where you sort of talk about like stop making your boss rich. You know what I mean? Like stop making your like, I don't know, like stop I kind of like even just stop building someone else's practice. I mean, if you're trying to call out people who are newer to the market, but Billy, I don't know, I'll pause for a second here because I feel like I've gone through talking for a long time. But
I actually have like a hook kind of idea that I've thought of around working on stop managing other people's wealth and learn to make your own, because I feel like the accounting and bookkeeping niche is just like they're broke. Like they're notoriously broke, and they spend all this time focused on helping other people make more money, save more money on taxes.
right.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you're
So repeat the hook one more time.
I guess it's not necessarily a hook, but it's a thought, it's an idea around the accounting and bookkeeping niche is like notoriously broke because they spend
Right.
so much time managing other people's wealth, and they haven't yet learned how to make their own or create their own.
Yeah, I like that.
Or
I think
making other people more money, they haven't figured out how to make their own money yet. They haven't had figured out how to make their own money.
yeah, from like a compliance standpoint, like you probably can't use the word like, I mean, I have to be careful of rich,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's like like around like, not stop making your clients rich because you want to make their clients rich, but like sort of like,
Right.
you're making your you're the best at making your clients rich, so why are you still broke? You know what I mean? Something like that would be like kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write
Yeah,
that down. Write that down in my notes.
This is latest Alyssa's hour and 15-minute consulting session. I'm gonna
Thanks
answer
for
some.
joining us, you guys, on my session.
I know we should have put her on the sales page. We screwed up.
Put
Let
a
me
link
share.
out.
Yes.
I want to horn in on your thing for a minute here. Hopefully my mic's still all right. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I need to get closer to the camera. In one of the dope CFO ads, it had mentioned like how bookkeepers or CPAs can make over 6 figures, and whenever there's, of course, you have to be very mindful of compliance with this and income claims and stuff. But I did a little research while Stefan was writing the ad, and I found the average lawyer salary in America. And this, of course, I don't know if the site that I sent you to is accurate or not, but according to the site that I sent you to, I've now lost it, of course, but it was like 120 grand a year or something like that. So one angle could be meet the CPA who makes more than their lawyer,
Yeah.
or for CPAs who want to make more than a doctor and things like that. So just another angle of working less and bringing in more revenue. Just whenever you're making any sort of income reference, be very careful with compliance, like during the actual sales pitch, like, hey, results not typical, et cetera, et cetera. Don't take legal advice from me ever, but please have compliance in mind when you do it.
Yeah, but I like that. That's a cool hook. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, well, if it's true, I mean,
Yeah.
if you can show them how to do it, you can, in your promotion, say, I'm going to show you what's worked for me, and this has worked for me. I don't know what you're going to do. I'm just giving you what worked for me, and you do with it what you will. And again, I'm not an attorney, but now you're telling the truth. I mean,
Right.
You're saying, okay, here's what worked for this dude. Here's how to do it. You do with this information what you want to do.
Yeah.
Perfect.
super cool.
Yeah. And Frank, I've watched enough of your stuff to know how you position, like, this is how this client does this, and this is this person doing this, and whatever you do with this information, like, I'm not making income claims. So definitely can work with that and run with I like the doctor and the lawyer positioning too. I think that's really smart. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Little
me
research,
answer-
man.
Yeah, a little research. Couple questions that were in here. Bill Hershey said, advertorial, a new word for me. Is that a tutorial advertisement? Yeah, it's like an ad that it kind of looks like an article. So you'll see them as like an editor, or like, no, it's an advertorial like in the newsprint or paper or magazines, where it's like sort of like a sponsored article, and online similar concept there, Bill, where people will have it, and it's like it says at the top advertisement, but it's written kind of like an article type of thing. As you would ask, when do you avoid personal attribution when you use the word you in your ad copy? From my experience on that, it's really like, you don't want to just call out like the user, and like, also it depends, because if you have like an ad rep in your big agency, I feel like you can get away with like fucking anything. And then if you're like earlier on, Facebook's more difficult. But really, it's like you don't want to call out the user and make them feel like a piece of shit. Is really like what my knowledge of it is from Facebook, right? So saying like you is okay because there's this period of time where people acted like you can never say you, but it's like you can, like, oh yeah, like follow my advice and you could this, or like like even like maybe you can relate, like that's totally fine. If it's like, hey, like you're you're an accountant and you can't get your shit together, and it's shit, right? I mean dramatic, but it's like like are you a struggling accountant? Like that would not be a good way to phrase it, because then people will get like freaked out. Like, how does Facebook know this? It's really Facebook being selfish, and they want people to be like, how do they know this about me? Oh my God, what else do they know about my data? And they start asking questions, right? So if you're like, like so many accounts are struggling to make money, even though they're even though they're great at making their clients rich, like I can help. If you're a CPA who blah blah blah, so you can say you there, but you wouldn't call them out with like, you're an accountant who's struggling to make the, you wouldn't try to like assume it. So that's sort of like the magical sort of fine line there. Frank, is that
Pretty close?
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, there isn't a hard and fast rule about it. It's really, you just don't want to make them feel bad. Are you depressed? Are you tired of being stupid and lazy? Like that's the kind of thing you want to avoid. It's okay to use the word you, just not in a negative context.
Yeah, perfect. Liz had said if you were doing the no BS blueprint lead magnet, would you test learn more versus download buttons? In my experience, learn more almost always wins, but you spend more. Yeah, and it's funny because I don't really like the word learn as a copywriter, right? Because it's like it implies work and all of that. So like discover, but with Facebook, you gotta do it. So yeah, I would test everything. I mean, I'm a big tester. I'm like, let's just test everything. Dude, completely unrelated win, but I'll share it real quick. For the CBD company that I'm partnered in, we're testing out Sven cart, which is through Digistore, and it's like a different kind of shopping cart versus like ClickBanks, because they were on ClickBank before. And oh shit, I was supposed to say that. I was supposed to say against another vendor. Just pretend I said Sven cart versus another vendor. Another
ClickBank. Yeah,
that was not ClickBank. Love them. Shout out to Thomas and everyone else. But basically, the Sven cart is like converting for us to like 80% today, and I don't think we'll actually hold it that high. But we have it over other data too, where this cart is like 20 to 30% better conversion rates than the other vendor's cart. And I still have the other vendor, but it's like, even that I wouldn't have thought to test another cart, honestly. And then like they did it, and I'm like, oh, that's like literally a game changer where we're like profitable today. We were break even at some scale yesterday. And I'm like, that like literally that alone could be like that stuff scaling to like, $1 million a month in ad spend on YouTube. That's where we're running it. Versus not. So I'm a big tester for that reason. You know what I mean? You never know those little wins.
Really
yeah, it's pretty dope one. Eric said, I thought you can't make time promises on Facebook. I don't know what the latest is on compliance there. Like, I think if you said like, I think if you're like, I'll show you how so many, like, honestly, I might have to change it to be like, but a promise, like, how are some CPA, how do I do this? Like, not mom and pop, like how are,
it's I can just answer it faster for you. It's an income time comparison is what they don't like. Income or weight loss. So lose 30 pounds in 7 days typically won't fly with them. Make $10,000 in a year or 30 days or whatever typically won't fly. But get a new client over 4 days, less of an outlandish statement, more of a realistic statement, and there's not a specific monetary amount attached to it.
Yeah, that thank you, that was better than what I would have. What I was gonna say is like phrasing it like, how are these like sort of small town, or how are these solo bookkeepers getting new clients in like in 4 days or something like that. That's not perfect phrasing, but you know what I mean? Like you'd ask it where it becomes like third party and you're asking a question about it. But also what you said is better anyway.
Yeah, and what's weird about Facebook is not people. So there's not like a group of people looking at your stuff. It's a robot. So it doesn't matter what we do. Like the ads are going to get rejected eventually. You're going to submit something and Facebook's going to be like, you can't run that. It's against our compliance. And you're going to be like, what the hell? And as at least if it's for me, I can't speak for everybody. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I must be a horrible person. Facebook hates me. And all of their statements are likely true, but it's not a real person actually seeing it. It's an algorithm that'll just get the phrasing wrong or something. Like I've had ads shut down because they thought I was selling tobacco and how to get a visa, you know, and it had nothing to do with any of that. I'm like, what the hell is all of that? And so please don't let that freak you out too much when it inevitably happens. It doesn't mean you're awful. It's just their robot misread it because
The robot hates you.
yeah, so the robot hates you. Yeah, they
Robot.
have robots that are trained to detect bad people and that got you.
I'll do a couple more questions, and I want Frankie to jump into your stuff, and then we'll go through more of these examples tomorrow, so we're not spending all day on this. But you know, when do you not use bullet points? You know, I like bullet points, but I saw a lot of my competitors honestly all using bullet points. I would use bullet points as well. I frankly, if I was really going to run this, I probably would, now that I had that idea, I probably would turn this into bullet points because it's a little bit more punchy. So there's no magical rule for bullet points, but I think, like, you know, if other ads in my vertical are running with bullet points a lot, I probably would just imitate that because it'd be like, well, it must work. And I could always test against it or not in the future. Yeah, you guys will get a copy of the sheet to the doc. I'm going to email it out. I'll also put it into here now with these examples, so you'll have it. And then, like I said, so I've got more examples which you all can look at on your own as well, as far as like this is sort of like a Monday / like ClickUp competitor. Then I have an example for like an athletic training, like a speed and agility training, where you can see where I started doing it. Now I didn't fill all of it in purposely because I was going to do it live as well. But you can see the ads I have here, right? And then, you know, I've got it set up for a dog supplement one, a relationship one, a lead gen for your report one for girl Brooke, and a like Cole Gordon's sort of one. So we can do a few more of these live tomorrow. You can also go through on your own. I'll pop it in here, and then I will also you know, go through some more examples tomorrow here. But let me pop in. I'll send out for people watching the replay too. But Frank, with that, I feel like we should hopefully, so this makes sense. So I know it's a lot. It's hard when it's like you're teaching something for like one of the first times ever. I feel like because it's like, you know, you're like, I don't know. I'm sure if I was teaching this like 1,000 times, I would have been more succinct, and we would have been going for an hour and 10-15 minutes on one example. But yeah, I just put the GDoc in the chat. Oh, you know, I went to Ben Curry because he had messaged me, so that's why I sent it. Ben, I love you, but I didn't mean to just direct send it to you. There you go. That's the doc for everyone. But yeah, I mean, I was going deep, but I hope you can see, right, if you're going through this here, like how this, like if you just do what I just did, I mean, really, again, in an actual hour and a half, where if I wasn't talking this whole time and was just doing this by myself in like a dark, you know, copywriting cave, I would have like, yeah, I would have been done in like 30 minutes. I would have had like, you know, 100, 200, 300 different ideas to run with, honestly, right? So it takes longer when you're showing it live, but I hope you all can see like how like just this stuff here of like VidTow and Answer the Public and YouTube and the ads library, and then sort of like kind of like doing what I talked about here, like how this can all be really helpful as far as coming up with a lot of ad ideas and angles and hooks go, and how it could also apply to more than just Facebook, right? Because like you can do ads for other mediums as well. And we'll talk more about some of those other mediums tomorrow. When I do ads tomorrow, I won't just do Facebook, I'll do YouTube, native, Instagram, and pull up ads from all kinds of different platforms. So it's not just Facebook specific as well. But with that being said, Frank, you want to kind of take over and go through, you know,
I do.
some of your stuff? Let me stop sharing then.
I'll show you this $4 ad thing, which is just so incredibly ridiculous and miraculous that it works. So this is the old, all right, if this works, damn it, this stuff can't possibly be that hard. So where is, obviously can't figure out Zoom. I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen. Let's see. Oh, that's not Zoom. That's why it's skipping the wrong controls. Okay, that was a totally different app there. What's going on? All right, desktop one. Okay, so I want to show you how this campaign has worked. This is an ad. All right, so first of all, here's how to find this thing. Okay, this is where you can see all the stuff I'm running. I'm going to send it to you in chat. This is just my Facebook ads library thing. This is relatively accurate. So I am running all of these. This stuff really doesn't serve any purpose other than just to get my ugly mug in front of people to retarget them. But this ad right here, I've been running this thing since last June. All right. And I went, and I've got the stats here. I'm going to pull them up from my chat with Stefan. I went and looked, and just let me, so you know I'm not BSing you here. Let's see. Yeah, so now we're at $304,000 that I spent like ever on this thing. And I started running it last June or July. I'm pretty sure it was last June. And I've done a gazillion iterations of different campaigns for it. But it is over 95% of all of this has been to, where are you? There we go. Sorry. This ad, right? And so you're seeing multiple ads here. So I have one version where I put a different color filter on the video just to make the file size look different on Facebook, so ad fatigue wouldn't happen as much. And then like, here's an original, and then here's a new version of the exact same ad where I just have longer copy. All right, so for the overwhelming majority of what I'm going to share with you is this ad right here. It is like, that's the sentence of copy, and then let's see, it'll show us the entire one, and then that's the other sentence of copy. So we're just going nuts here. And this is being shown to complete strangers. And this ad, in conjunction with this one, which again is the exact same ad, it's just I changed the color filter so the file size would be slightly different. That like tricks Facebook sometimes into thinking you've uploaded new creative. So it's kind of a little hack there. But this dumbass ad here, that I've spent the majority of all that money on, has produced, let me pull up the numbers here, 15,245 buyers. And those buyers have generated $1,699,041.80 in sales. So this works pretty good. So the yeah, but that's going to come up immediately is, oh, well, dude, this is working because everybody knows you. And they don't. All right. So number one, not everybody knows me. I'm a hermit and a weirdo, and I don't go to conferences, and I don't do podcasts, and I like never leave the house. And number two, if we take a look at like who I'm showing this stuff to, like here's one that's working pretty good. There we go. All right. Like these are just big ass lookalike audiences that are 839,000 people in this one. This one, I'm just showing it to people who like digital marketing. So there's 74 million people. I can assure you that 74 million people don't know who I am. Okay. So there's a couple of things at play here that are making this work. Number one is the way Facebook actually works, and YouTube and really all ad platforms work this way. So what these folks are doing over there at the Facebook is they're taking a user, that's this guy right here. And according to the research that I did, this may or may not be right, but let's assume that it's correct. They're analyzing 10,000 data points on this user. So every time we're on Facebook doing stuff, there's 10,000 different data points on us that Facebook is analyzing, such as how much time we're spending on the app, what we're looking at, whether we watch a video or skip it, what we say in our responses, what posts we respond to, and the word density of those posts, where we are geographically, what kind of device we're on. And then there's everyone going to go, oh yeah, but Apple changed the game, and they didn't change shit. So, that's just, it makes tracking a little bit harder, but whatever, as people are just trying to scare you into spending more money when they do all that kind of stuff. So if we accept this to be true, which is like Facebook knows a lot about their users, then this ad, which is, where are we? This ad right here, which is patently ridiculous, begins to make sense. So the strategy that I'm using with this thing here is to use this ad as a means to leverage the billions of dollars, I'm guessing, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars, that Facebook has spent to figure out how to use all of this data to get me more money without me having to do anything. All right. So it works like this. The idea is, and it isn't just behind this one particular ad. It's like kind of my approach to Facebook ads, which is why I was being kind of cavalier earlier, like, yeah, I like to write 2 sentences. There's actually a lot of logic behind it. So we're assuming the offer is good and we're selling things that people want, and the web page isn't horrible and all that kind of stuff. We go to total strangers, all right, and we show them an obvious ad that has dog whistle copy. So if I were doing the thing for CPAs, I would go to total strangers. So I wouldn't be spending all day, trying to figure out who the perfect audience is. I do what I'm doing in this thing. I'd be like, I don't know, let's show it to small business owners. Let's show it to everybody in the United States. Let's show it to every man between 30 and 60. And then let's do one to every woman between 30 and 60. I test things like that. And I would make an obvious ad, where are we? Right here, with dog whistle copy. And this is a huge deal, okay? So dog whistle copy is copy, I stole that word from Dan Kennedy. It's copy that's only going to be appealing and or interesting to your perfect person. So we were doing the thing for CPAs, my copy, like that's going to total strangers who've never heard of me, it might say something like, watch this if you're a CPA who wants more clients fast. And then it might be a video ad, and the video ad's going to send them to the offer. But the dog whistle copy is, watch this if you're a CPA who wants more clients fast. So we could take an ad like that and show it to like everybody in the United States. And here's what's going to happen. CPA dude is going to click on that ad. I'm just going to draw a little star. That means he clicked, he did something. And Facebook is going to go to their super duper computer, and they're going to be like, hey, this dude clicked on that ad. Now we're showing this ad to this giant list of the gazillion people. And this is a little pocket of people we're showing it to. If we keep getting dudes like this, maybe we should start kind of showing it to this pocket too. So they're going to go out and find more people like the person that's responding to your ad. So that's the logic behind that, right? Is we're just allowing their machine learning to do its job. Like, if me and you tried to program a damn thing that could do what Facebook can do, all of us collectively don't have enough money to do it. Like, they've spent a fortune doing this. So that's the logic behind the 2-sentence ad framework. So that's thing number one. Like, you don't have to have a video. I'll tell you why each video in a minute. It could just be an image. But like, if we're selling dog training stuff, I would just experiment with a ton of different audiences. My ad would say something like, read this if you want to train your dog, and then we got the image there or whatever. So read this if you want to train your dog, and then, free report reveals 7 ways to make your dog start barking at night or whatever. And that's the whole thing. It's all 2 sentences. And again, the reason why is because Facebook's analyzing 10,000 data points on every freaking user. And it doesn't take too long of this type of obvious dog whistle stuff for their little supercomputer to be like, okay, now we know who you're after. Now we're going to start showing it to more people, all right, that are like that individual. So that's like frame of reference number 1 as to why I do it this way. Frame of reference number 2 is that this ad right here, where are we? This one right here. If we go here, you can see the page. I think it might expire because I use deadline funnels. Oh, cool. Reset. So it's literally like just 4 courses for $4. And this is me going, hey, here's how cool these courses are. And like, look, it's nothing. If they go there and or they do a lot of things, what I'm doing is I'm building an audience of people that I know probably are in the market for buying marketing courses. Now, why do I know this? Well, because they're clicking on an ad that says, get 4 courses for $4, get 4 new marketing courses for $4. So everybody who interacts with this thing is probably, not definitely, but probably someone who wants to buy marketing stuff, right? So we're just kind of taking this machine learning system and leveraging it to just produce a bunch of people who are raising their hand by the mere fact they're clicking on this damn thing and saying, yeah, I'm interested in buying marketing stuff. Now, they don't all buy, of course, and that's fine, but that's not really the function of the ad. The function of the ad is to create that retargeting list of people at break even or better. All right, so we'll go through the ad itself in a minute, but I just want to show you the numbers. And the reason I'm going to show you the numbers is because I want you to be very familiar with the reality of how like this type of thing works. So this product right here, you can buy it. It's $4. If you click this, there's a couple of order bumps on the page, and there's like 832 one-click upsells. And here's the math. All right, so if we come over here, let's just take a look. So this is today. We're having a pretty good day today. All right, let me hit refresh, because every time you hit refresh, you make more money.
We use Zoom a little bit too. If you're on Chrome, hit Command Plus and zoom up a little bit just so for people.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, there we go. All right, sweet. Nice. All right, so look, I hit refresh and more money came in. It's incredible. Okay, so we brought in 936 on the sucker today. The average person spending $26. So after all the upsells and all that stuff on day number 1 today, they're spending 26 smackers. Now let's see where we at today on spend. Okay, so we're either winning or we're not. Who knows? And yeah, all right. So we made $1 or $2. This is great. You know, I'll take it. However, that's not really what this thing is for. All right. So if we look at yesterday, for example, spent 637 and come on, ClickFunnels. Don't break on me. Come on, baby. Never know. Well, yeah, that was it. The trick of the hand wave. Yeah, so we made $40 yesterday. They didn't buy the upsells as much, you know. And some days, like you crush it, and some days you don't. And that's how ads work, by the way. So I know probably y'all have run ads before, but if you haven't, it's real easy, especially like the expectations of profitability are almost directly proportional to how much of a pain in the ass it was to set your ads up. So the more work you put into it, the more you expect it to be immediately profitable, and the greater the disappointment it is on days when it isn't. So point number 1 is like you really need to understand that some days are great, some days aren't, and it's a long-term game here. All right. So I'm going to go back to these stats I gave Stefan. If we look at this thing over time, just to give you an idea of like what the immediate first day value is. All right, I'll get a bigger picture, and I'll explain why I'm sharing this with you in a sec. We look at this over time. While we're waiting on that to load, let's do this. Was that January 1st or July 1st through today? I think. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So brought in 21, average orders $36. Let's see what we spent. 19 grand. So like over time, you know, it's some days better than others. Made a little bit of money, not a ton. Made a little bit of money. Now, what ends up happening, and this is going back to the logic of why I do it this way. What ends up happening is these buyers, well, hell, I'd have to do the math, but whatever 1.699 million divided by 15,425 is, I think it's like $111. These people end up buying more stuff. All right. So that's another like caveat that I want to put out there, because I don't want anyone to get the impression of like, oh my God, I can just make millions of dollars selling super cheap things. Like you can, but there needs to be other things that you buy, you know, and the thing they're getting here is like really good. You know, I'm actually giving very, very good content. It's like really good courses and stuff. So the average person ends up spending more money. All right. So with all of that said, like that's our groundwork, right? There's tons of email follow-up to buyers, tons of email follow-up to people who abandoned cart. The average person spends $100-something with me over the course of a year, which is great. I could probably get that to be higher if I sent more emails and paid more attention to it. So we got all of that. Now, let's look at the ad itself. All right. So what I did is, of course, I lost it. I transcribed it for you, and I have it in a PDF file. So let me find this and I'll see if I can attach it to the chat. I sent it to Stefan as well, so it'll be up in the members area for y'all, but I think maybe I can actually send this over in chat just to be fancy. Let's see if we can do it. Come on, baby. Oh, dude, it looks like it's working. Look at there. Okay.
Look at you. See, you know some technology. Look at you
Man,
doing
about
stuff on the
that?
computer.
kablamo. Aha. Okay, sweet. All right. So there's the thing, the transcripts of the ad. Here's what I want to show you about the ad. It is obviously an ad. So let's look at it again. All right. First of all, like, let's say you don't even watch the video. It's get 4 complete courses from Frank Kern for just $4. Overwhelming majority of people who watch this don't know who the hell I am. All right. I really can't stress that enough. It's not like they're like, oh, yay, it's Frank. Like, these people know me. All right. And then get 4 new marketing courses for just $4. That is dog whistle copy. All right. So we're doing the CPA thing, new, how CPAs can earn more than lawyers. New, how CPAs can get how CPAs can get great new clients in 4 days or less. Like really, really obvious dog whistle stuff. Now, if we look at the video, I'll play it for a second. Oh, I don't know if I've got the right stuff turned on to share my audio.
Try. If not, there's a little dot that says more, and then it says like play computer audio or computer sound. So like down at like
Zoom controls. Okay.
Yeah, like there's like the little dots or like or more or something, and then it like that's one of the options.
See, oh, there they are. Nice. All right. More. Oh, share computer sound. Okay, don't explode.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hey, my name is Frank Kern, and this is an ad. It's an ad specifically for people who sell things online. So if that's you and you want to sell more stuff online, I think this can help you. In this ad, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to share 3 secrets with you that'll help you sell more stuff. All right, so we're 15 seconds in. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing because look, this thing's 7 minutes and 43 seconds, which is ridiculous, right? But I sent you the transcripts. But we're 15 seconds in, and what we've done is we've identified that it's an ad, and we've identified that it's an ad for people who want to sell more stuff online. And then we've pre-sold watching the rest of the ad. And the rest of the ad is just straight content. Like I actually help them, come up with stuff. Like here's some stuff that I've learned that helps you sell more stuff online. So none of it's really about the product at all. And this is very important. So I'll get to that aspect of it in a minute, but now let's look at what we have here. Okay. So I'm showing this thing to all manner of people. Like here's my Facebook account, So, I mean, I've tested showing this to everybody on the planet. It worked for a long time. Actually, it's crazy. And it just stopped, which is normal for Facebook, by the way. People who are interested in random stuff, like, look at this. Like, this is ridiculous. We go over here. Look at the ROAS and some of these things. Like I'm just literally using Facebook search tool for audience suggestions. And like, I'll create an ad account here and I'll just be like, okay, I'm targeting these guys who like search advertising. Let's find another audience. And I'll go, okay, let's see what happens. All right, search advertising. I don't know. And they always give you these warning signs that everything's about to explode. And I'll come down here and look at, of course, I'm in the saved audience thing. Let's see. I'll come down here and I'll be like, say I've done search advertising, search engine marketing. I'll just hit suggestions. Yeah, there we go. Then I'll just like randomly select stuff because I don't freaking know. I don't believe Facebook's targeting. I don't think that their targeting is that on point. I don't know that like there are literally 13 million people on this planet that are interested in content marketing, but I'll test an ad to it. And if it's a dog whistle ad like that, and it gets sales, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then there are pockets of customers in here. And if it's not, then that's fine. But at the end of the day, here's what this approach is producing. All right. So remember, we have dog whistle copy in the words. All right. So get 4 complete courses from this dude for $4. get 4 new marketing courses for $4. Ain't no other copy. All right, we got that. We got the first 15 seconds saying this is an ad for people who want to sell things on the internet. All right, and in this ad, I'm going to try to sell you something and I'm going to help you. All right, so we got that like super dog whistle. So what this produces, in addition to the sales, is this. It gives me this great retargeting audience of people who end up viewing the video, engaging with the ad, clicking, commenting, visiting the page, meaning visiting my Facebook page, visiting my profile, if I'm showing it on Instagram, profile visit. It also raises brand awareness for me personally. So now they do know who I am, the ones who pay attention. Like obviously not everybody who sees the ad is going to watch it, you know, but now it starts to build that brand recognition, and I could go on and on. And the net effect of all of this is I end up with, at any given moment, around 200,000 people that are warm, meaning these are guys that have behaviorally indicated by virtue of doing these things that they are interested in buying marketing stuff. All right. So I know we're not even talking about any sort of creativity at all. We're really talking about engineering to a degree. So conceptually, from a logical standpoint, does this make sense to y'all? This is a two-sided conversation. Oh, yeah, they can't talk, can they? Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
They
Everyone's on
put
mute.
the chat. We'll see yes and yup.
This is great.
All right, cool.
There you go. Yeah, they can
Sweet.
themselves say this is great. Yeah, good.
All right. So let's see. What else I want to help you guys with and showing you behind the curtain of this thing. Oh, scaling it. All right. So I should do a better job of this, number one. I really just don't want to do anything. So it's one of the reasons I've been using the same freaking ad forever. The other reason I've been using the same freaking ad forever is that it works. All right. So here are the steps of doing this type of thing. All right. So step number one is you have a campaign. All right. And so a campaign on Facebook, and if I'm being like way too basic, just forgive me. I just don't want to leave anyone behind. Like we screwed up Zoom today, you know what I mean? So like, I'm not going to assume anything technologically. On Facebook, the campaign is basically saying, hey, Facebook, go do something. Go get me leads or customers or clicks or whatever. That's all a campaign is. And within the campaign, you have ad sets. And an ad set is basically you telling Facebook who to show it to. All right, show it to, I don't know, women between the age of 29 and 64 who like gardening in New Zealand, like whatever. And then within that ad set, you have ads, okay? So that's, I probably should have just called that set, but whatever. So in the beginning, what I do is I'll create a campaign and I'll just test a whole bunch of different ad sets, which is essentially the audience. So I'll just actually change that to the audience. And that's what this looks like, by the way. So if we come back over here, you can see in this one campaign, all right, which is this one, I created it on the 15th of June. There were 63 different ad sets in there. And I measured to be like, all right, did they work or not? And let's see here. What did I say, 21st through 8th? Let's have a look. I hit the wrong thing. Of course I hit the wrong button. Hang on. Button clicking is extremely difficult. This is really part of the magic, is hitting the right buttons. All right, so some of them worked, some of them didn't. I spent 15 G's on this campaign, and some of these audiences totally smoked. No, this is that fake ad that I was about to create. Like, look, what happens is you end up finding audiences. They're pretty good. And when you do, you want to scale those up, and they're not all good, right? So like, I'm taking, instead of like rolling the dice on one audience going, all right, man, this is where my customers are. I'm like, shit, I don't know. Let's just see, let's just test it and see and find out. Like, I don't even know what this is. IESE Business School. I've never heard of it in my life. Facebook gave it as a suggestion. Also don't know why I turned this one off, but whatever. I set up automations and stuff, and sometimes I don't do it right. All right, so that's like step one. You're just testing to see, all right, do I have a winning ad and audience combination? And we do this in what's called the ad set level, also known as AOV. And what this means is you're telling Facebook, hey, dude, at the campaign level, I'm like, all right, man, look, I want you to go out and get me conversions, please. Okay, would you kindly do that for me? There we go. And of course, now it's telling me everything's going to go to hell because I made that one ad that I haven't published. At the ad set level, which is right here, okay, these are just the audiences. So all I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, man, I want you to go out and get me conversions from people who are interested in freaking IESE Business School, whatever that is. There's allegedly 374,000 of them. I bet you there's not really that many people on the planet that are interested in there. And I'm targeting these countries. That's the whole deal. And then I'm like, and these are the ads I want you to show. All right. And of course, it's not going to show me the 3 ads because they're butts. This one has really never worked ever, but I just decided to throw some more stuff in here. This is the one that just almost always gets all of the spend. This is the original one right here that I'm showing you. This is the exact same ad, but with longer copy on it for people who just are masochists and want to read what I write there. So that's how this thing works. So step number one, we test a whole bunch of different audiences with this dog whistle stuff. And all we're looking for are audiences that respond. All right. And step number two, to scale this stuff, is once we find them, all right, we then, stage two, we have our campaign, and all we do is we take our best audiences, and this one's going to be CBO. We take our winning audiences after some time, and we run those in a CBO campaign. And only difference is at CBO level, you let Facebook just make all the decisions. So it'll be like, you know what, I'm going to spend most of the budget today on this audience because I think this is going to be working better. And then some other days, going to be like, I'm going to spend most of the budget on this one because I think this one's going to be working better. So you really give Facebook a lot more control at that stage, but you only do it after you've proven that the ad and the audience combination works. And then you just kind of don't mess with it until it breaks, which it eventually will. You'll get ad fatigue and, the campaign will stop working or whatever. So at that stage, you just kind of start the process over again. And that's how I've done the $4 thing and spent 300 grand and brought in 1.6 by just doing this, and then of course, having really good follow-up. So let's take a look at what I'm actually saying in the ad and then the retargeting strategy. All right, so are y'all with me so far, by the way? Because I get worried about this stuff that I can get overly techie or whatever. Everyone cool? All right.
Yeah, there's some questions. I'll share. Let me go through a couple questions and you go to this next part here. So
Okay.
there's one question was like, is there a rule of thumb for how long, how many like clicks until, the supercomputer starts getting smarter? That was question one. I don't know if you have any kind of rule of thumb for that. Goes back to kind of the beginning when you're talking about, Facebook's machine.
Yeah. All right. So check this out. Okay. I'm almost always in this world of doom, which is, let me find some ad sets in here. It says learning limited or learning. So what'll make Facebook get really smart is if you can get 50 conversions for whatever it is you're optimizing for, whether it's an opt-in or sale or whatever. If you can get 50 of those in a week, then it'll get out of the learning phase and it gets smarter. When I'm in this, like, let's throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks phase, I'm almost never out of the learning phase. Like in this one, it's like learning limited. It means we can't figure it out, dude. You're on your own. But I don't care because I spent $279 over time and it brought in 2,000. So I'm like, I don't give a shit if you're in the learning phase or not, dude. I'm still going to run it, But the rule of thumb is 50 conversions. Another rule of thumb is that you need like minimum 2 ads per ad set. I haven't done that in years. I've just had one. When I switch over to CBO, which is like you do it with higher budgets and it's kind of ugly in the first couple of days generally, I'll put like 2 ads in there. And if I have to, it'll be 2 of the exact same ad just so Facebook's algorithm won't get freaky.
Word. And then, so Carol had asked, so we're bypassing the whole, it takes about 4 days for Facebook to create an algorithm to learn your audiences with this approach, but kind of not, because like you kind of answered it what you just said. It's really just over like 50 sales. This goes back to the earlier on when you're talking about the machine as well. So I think you kind of answered that.
The 4-day thing is a myth. And so here's what's interesting. All right. So if we look at this campaign, and we like look at these audiences over here, I could kind of rationalize an opinion that, okay, wait a minute, this is the greatest audience in the world. I spent $297 in total and it brought in 2,000. I'm going all in on this, right? But in reality, it might not hold up long term. So I could put this in the CBO campaign, which I have actually this morning, as it was a little early to know the results of it. And Facebook could put $50 or $100 or $200 per day towards this audience in that campaign with the same audience, same ad, and it might perform horribly for like the first 3 or 4 days, and then it might catch. So this strategy where you have a whole bunch of audiences, or maybe even not a whole bunch, maybe just 10 or whatever, it's smaller daily budgets. This is really more of a testing strategy. And you can live in this world without ever trying to up your budgets a lot if you want to. Like, I do it primarily. This is how I run all of my ads. I rarely ever feel like dealing with CBO and having big budget campaigns with my best audiences in there, but I'm just determined to crack that code. But generally speaking, this is how I run everything, and I'll just raise and lower these daily budgets based on performance. So if they stop being profitable, I'll lower the budget by 20%, and if they are profitable, I'll raise it. That's why you see weird budget amounts like $21.30. It's because I've automated this to be like, all right, if it's profitable, raise the budget by 5% every 6 hours. And that's what happens. And if it stops being profitable, lower that budget. If it goes too long without being profitable, turn it off. And I use a tool called Magix to do that. MADGICX, hardest domain in the world to spell, but pretty good.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I hadn't heard about it until in your Rainmaker thing, and I'm like, God, this is the worst name. Like, it's a great tool, like worst name, right?
It is. Yeah.
A couple more questions here. Owen had said, do you dupe comments and engagement on a single ad, or do you clear it? Does that make sense to you?
I don't even know why. What people are saying. For all I know, there's comments under there going, this is literally the worst person in the world. I hate this guy. I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to look at it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Cool. And then Liz, for your retargeted audience, are you running Facebook ads cycler for follow-up? Just like an email cycler?
Sorry.
It's okay. That was my internet. It was slowing up or something, I think.
One more time?
Yeah, sorry. Hopefully it's Regis Matt. All right, sorry. She said, are you running like an ad cycler, like for the retargeting, or are you just like an email cycler? Are you sort of cycling these retargeting ads?
No, I'm not. So I actually do a pretty terrible job of retargeting. I built this great retargeting audience asset, and then I get distracted and don't do anything with it. I'll show you what I do in a second, but first I need to show you this front end thing. So all the stuff that you're like, oh, it must be this complicated, cool. Really not. So let's go back to the $4 thing, and then I'll show you the retargeting thing, which is just super basic. All right, so if we look at this thing right here, if you want to watch it, or you can just read the transcripts. But what this ad does is it actually freaking helps them. All right, so the majority of this ad is spent delivering what I call results in advance, and doing that one thing has made me more money than anything else, period. Because I'm in this for the long haul, and most of my customers are repeat customers. I've been doing this 23 years in October, and it's kind of like, all right, if I can help these guys, crazy idea, then they're probably going to buy my stuff. And if the stuff they buy for $4 is really good, they're probably going to want to buy more stuff. And if I keep doing a good job for them, they're probably going to do that for a long time. Like, I know. Novel concept. But in terms of scripting your own version of this, I want to walk you through the framework of how I do it, which is really simple. So I'll do it for you now. And y'all have probably seen me do this before. I've been teaching the same thing forever, but only because it works really freaking good. So our first phase of it is we're going to use dog whistle copy. All right. Very important. The reason we're doing that is because it will train Facebook's machine to find us the right people, even when we're launching new campaigns. So if you do it long enough, hang on. If you do it long enough, you can launch this, your dog whistle ad to completely new audiences, and Facebook will start giving you better results a lot faster because it has so much data. All right. So number one, dog whistle copy. That's above and below the video if you're using a video. I recommend using videos because you can target video viewers and things, retarget them. All right, so now the body of your video, what's worked really well for me is to tell them it's an ad. So RT here stands for radical transparency. Tell them it's an ad, and then call out who. This means call out who it's for. All right, so above the ad, dog whistle copy, watch this if you want to get more CPA clients. And then below the video, it's, for CPAs who want more clients quickly, learn more. And then there's the video itself, and the video itself says, hey, this is an ad specifically for CPAs who are independent, who want to get more and higher paying clients. If that's you, boom. And then you go into the framework, and the framework is always going to be this. All right. It's called Results in Advance Framework. Here it is. They're here. They are not happy in their current situation. They want to be here where they are happy in their current situation. Generally speaking, there's going to be like 3 or 4 major things they have to do to go from here to here. We just want to know what those things are and give them the big picture concepts on how to do those things in the ad itself. Now, sounds extremely basic. And when you watch mine, which I encourage you to do, I do the whole thing in less than 7 minutes. It was one take. It's pretty obvious when you watch the ad that it was one take. All right. And so you don't have to it's not a damn webinar or anything. What you want to do is cause that prospect in their brain to visualize themselves actually doing what it is you're saying to do. So, if we were doing this on list building or something, I always use this example, I wouldn't be like, okay, the first thing you need to do is have a good opt-in page. Here's how to write the HTML code for an opt-in page. Like that. No, we don't want to do that. We'd be like, first thing you want to do is make it really easy for people to give you their email addresses. Here's 2 examples of web pages that work really great. See how basic they are? Awesome. Like that type of really, really big picture stuff. When you do it and the prospect can see that logically, okay, this makes sense. They see it in their mind's eye. They can see themselves doing it. What happens is they feel like they're getting closer to this end result. And with all of that said, I don't want this to be taken out of context. Obviously, everything I'm showing you is under the assumption that we are actually helping them and we're not just making stuff up, so take that as a given there. Okay. So they can see themselves doing this. And as they see themselves doing this, they have the feeling that they're now getting closer to the state. And it's like when you're super hungry, the closer you are to the restaurant, like, all right, so like I'm hungry here. Okay. Now I can smell the food because I've gotten closer to the restaurant. So my level of hunger goes up. Now I see the food because I'm at the restaurant. I see it and I smell it and it looks delicious and my level of hunger goes up. The closer you get them to the feeling that they can have when they're here, the greater their desire to get there becomes. That is why this ad, which is really freaking bad. Like, I think this is the one with color correction in it, but I look horrible in it. I think I was hungover and guys, I look like a fucking murderer. And total strangers are still giving me money. And especially if you consider the fact that they're going to this page, right? I mean, look at this. I shot it with a GoPro camera. I had just moved in once again. I'm just moving in. I guess I get lucky whenever I move somewhere. I got stuff on the floor all over there. There's a freaking monitor over there, like, it's ridiculous, right? But because of the dog whistle copy, and because Facebook just keeps finding better and better people to show it to, and the fact that before they got here, I did this stuff, which was to actually help them. The old demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them trick. This page converts, and y'all done saw the page, right? So all this video, there's nothing cool in the video. Video is me going, you get 4 courses, here's what's in them. You should buy them, they're great. Like, they're anything neat, it's not like VSL formula or anything. Here's what you're getting, right? Let's look at the conversion of this sucker. So this is for however many days it is, 5.24% conversion, which I'll take because this is from complete cold strangers out of nowhere. And then we have an additional 42 orders. These are from the people who start to order right here, but didn't. I put them in a little email sequence that gets them to order. So whatever, it's probably closer to 6% in total. You don't take it, right? It ain't rocket surgery. It's just sticking to the thing and giving it enough time so Facebook can do its job. But now what I got, all right, is it got me one of these, which is a retargeting audience. Okay, so when it asks a question about retargeting and do I cycle stuff and do intelligent person things, and unfortunately the answer is no, I don't. But I do retarget when I remember to. So let's see here. One that I've been running recently is this guy right here. So this was the first one. I think I ran this thing for about a week or something. Let's see what Facebook says it did, and then we'll see what it actually did in real life. So, of course, it would help if I got the dates right. Alrighty. So we're August something. I think I started it on the 28th. Please cooperate. Thank you. Okay. So here we are. Blah blah blah. It's this guy right here, and you got to watch Facebook, by the way. Like I said, nothing happened, but you just have to look at the ad set level, and it'll tell us. So spent 2,900 and got back 3, 4, what's that? 45, $5 grand. So doubled the money. Pretty good, right? And you know what the ad was? It was. This is the best one, clearly, right? This is the one that performed the best. This is where I'm retargeting. So here, I'll just show you. This stands for retargeting worldwide. These are all of my retargeting audiences here. So like, I'm just finding people who did anything, engaged in any possible way. And I create a separate audience for each one of them. I can walk you through how to do that in a second if you want to. All right, there are 279,000 of them. And I'm showing them this ad, which is awful, because they might have forgotten who the hell I am, but I don't know. All right, is this the best deal in internet marketing history? Get some stuff for a big old discount, go here. And then it goes to a page where they can buy some stuff for a discount for $297. And that's how I do retargeting, as like a very simple version of it. And it works pretty good. Yeah, it works real good. And I should do more, but I'm actually remiss by not retargeting more. I just get distracted because that's a pretty good size audience. I'm really letting that lay fallow. Yeah, lay fallow. Look that one up. All right. And here's one we unlaunched here. And look, I launched this one today. How about that? So kaboom. We got a 5 times return on ad spend here. That's pretty good, ain't it? This is where I'm targeting retargeting folks. And then people who are, for whatever reason, allegedly interested in me. We got 2 different audiences here. And this one, man, spent $64 and got 2 sales, $594. I'll take it. I'll show you a little trick too, by the way. When you're running Facebook ads, the damn thing's so smart. You know, like people, I don't know why people want to see the negative of everything. Like Facebook's freaking amazing. Yeah, iOS 14 made things harder, whatever. Cry me a river. You know, I mean, dude, people used to have to write letters and send them in the mail, you know, like we're over here with all this data. It's amazing. What you can do is you can tell it. You can say, look, man, I want you to get me a specific return on ad spend. And if it doesn't think it can, it'll stop spending your freaking money, which is unbelievable. So have a look at this little setting right here. When you create an ad set, you can select this option as a value, and you can tell it, I want you to make me at least this much return on ad spend. And it'll go out and do it. Now, if it can't do it, it'll just stop spending your money. So it's like a ridiculously good little hack there, you know. But the only way that you're going to be able to use that kind of stuff is if you run a lot of volume using like dog whistle copy and feeding their machine with enough data to actually do its job. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it can be techy, but at the end of the day, it's dog whistle copy with results in advance, ad creative, make the offer good, obviously, and then retarget them with more stuff. And if you really want to work well, do it with a value objective attached to the ad, and it'll work out pretty good. 13x ROAS today. Come on, man, that's great. So I'm talking about. All right, so does that make sense? So we have any questions? Tell me where I need to go deeper, and I will. I haven't really gone over this that heavy before, so I don't know what I have taken for granted. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's pretty dope. I just want to like, I feel like I need to do more media buying. You know, yeah, so sexy. It's so unsexy that it's sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like even that, like, it's not like you're doing a bunch of crazy ninja tricks. It's just like you're doing like the right things very well and getting a good result.
I just learned that the damn Facebook's a lot smarter than me, which isn't saying a lot. I'll give it that. But you know, dude, they're a gazillion-dollar company with 7 billion users. They know everything about us. So we're like, okay, wait a minute. If this machine is programmed to go find us the perfect people, then logic dictates if we make our ads call out to the perfect people, then the ones who are responding to the ads are the perfect people. And then the machine will just go get more people like them. It's like, okay, let's just do that. Where I think, and by the way, this doesn't negate like all the angles and stuff we were talking about. I just don't like writing copy. I'm lazy. But the place where I would get fancy is in the retargeting. Because now I think we've just got all this opportunity. You know, we got all these people that are exposed to the brand, they've clicked, they've engaged, and now I want to start getting more creative and writing cooler stuff for them. Of course I don't. I also want to do sit-ups and push-ups and stuff, and I don't, but I should.
Well, a couple questions that are in here. There's several, but I mean, Borfang had said, when you're split testing, how much data should you gather before you make a conclusion? I don't know how you, within the context of Facebook, I guess. What do you? I guess you're aren't you letting Facebook kind of decide, or like what? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't really split test Facebook ads. There's a function where you can, and I tested it one time like 4 years ago, and it didn't work, and it was very expensive. So I concluded that it can't possibly ever work for anybody ever. I never tried it again. So I'll just throw a couple ads. Do. Let's see. Let me find one with multiple ads. Would probably help if I use the right name there. Okay, let's see here. Level 4 marketing interest test. Ad set here. I mean, this is another ridiculous thing. There's a tool called audiencer.io that'll allow you to type in a word like marketing, and then it'll give you all these related interests. And then if you use something like Ad Espresso, you can actually like create this campaign using Ad Espresso. It'll just build all these ad sets for you at one time automatically. It's pretty cool. Anyway, all you do for the looking at the ads, you just come here and you see, okay, what worked, you know? So this one, it spent $32. It cost me $32 to get a purchase. I made 8 times my ad spend. I think this one's pretty good. This one spent $10. Nothing happened. Probably not that good. That's probably why I only spent $10. So like Facebook kind of figures it out. There is there's like kind of a rule of thumb that's unofficial, which is some people like to say, okay, I want to make sure an ad gets X amount of impressions before I decide that it's bad. So if you want to see that, you can just click on this performance view and you can see how much reach it got. So like it might be premature for me to think this ad is bad because there only 749 people saw it, or actually more accurately 840 people. So I might leave it up, but I don't really do that. You know, I'm just kind of like, all right, I'll let the machine do its thing. And I find that the more that I mess with stuff at that level, the easier it is to break. So it's kind of like, just let the damn thing do its job. What hurts us as advertisers is that we want the results immediately, you know, and like we'll have a bad day and like, oh God, it's broken. I got to shut the ads off and rebuild everything. And in reality, you don't. You might have just had a bad day. You know, like last week, there were a couple of days where I spent $600 or $700 on this campaign and it died. You know, I made like 400. I lost money, but then there are other days where I doubled the money. So you have to have a little bit of psychological capability to withstand unpleasantry.
Yeah. All right, I got a lot more questions here. So a rapid fire, well, somewhat rapid fire them on you, but one question is just how do you pick your starting budget? So I see a bunch of different budgets you set for them, you know, but does starting budget matter? How are you picking that?
Dude, what I do is I'll choose, depending on how big of a hurry I'm in, I'll usually do $5 a day per ad set or $10 per day per ad set. So this one's a great example. This guy, I think I started this at $10 a day. And now, because of the automations I've used, it has scaled or dropped and paused, right? So like these guys were at $5 a day and I turned them off. Clearly they were not running. Yeah, I don't even know what, because I don't have the right time frame here. These paused automatically because they didn't do anything. These guys did something for a little while and they ran, but then they stopped working. So the automations paused them. These guys have been doing pretty good. So the automations are scaling them, but I'm starting at $5 a day. And the thing I'm using to automate is Magix.
Yeah. Okay. Sean said or asked, when testing audiences and testing creative, how do you do it? Test creative first or audiences, or split tests with ad sets or something else? The multiple variations get crazy very quickly. So you already kind of talked about that, the split testing on the actual creatives, but testing audiences and creatives. Yeah.
I don't. I'll find like an ad that I think is pretty good. You know, sometimes I'll make it crazy and write 2 of them, but I rarely do, because if one works, I'm like, screw it, it's fine. You know, and so really what I'm doing is I'm trying to find audiences. So the way I find audiences is number one, you literally can just use their suggestion tool. You know, so we start with an audience like distribution business. Where'd you go here? And then I would duplicate this thing. I'd be, all right, we'll see what else they got. All right, I'll try wholesale. And for me, like, I have no idea if wholesale is going to work, you know, because I don't really trust Facebook's targeting. So I would run that and spend $5 a day on it. And, you know, if I don't get a customer after spending like 15 or 20 bucks, I'll turn it off. But that's how I do that testing. And so I'll lump a whole bunch of those into one campaign. So, each ad set targets a different audience at like $5 a day. And they'll just turn off the ones that don't work after a couple of days. So your first couple of days, it could be ugly. Like you might not make money, but that's okay. You're just getting data. But then once you turn off all the losers and you leave the winners on, now it starts to look better.
Word. Nice. Makes sense. Michael said, do you start with optimize for purchases right from the start with the new campaign? I know Facebook says it needs something like 15 to 20 purchases before you should turn it on so it can learn. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I ignore all of those things. Like here, look, this is still in the learning phase. It says audience limited. Like consider expanding your audience or something. I'm thinking, okay, should I do that? Should I listen to them? Let's have a look here. Let's see. This is my reporting for this. What were we looking at? Oh. Okay, so I spent $67 and I have brought in 124. I ain't gonna mess with it. So I always optimize for conversions. Yeah. And so even if it's like getting opt-ins, I'll optimize for the lead and not a click, not a add to cart or anything like that. I go straight for the jugular. And in a lot of cases, I'll tell it to optimize for value. And so this is a thing that people don't really show you. I'll just kind of build one from scratch here. Is you can come over here and be like, all right, let's make a new campaign. And I wanted to get sales. Okay, we'll come over here. All right, and let's say we're just going to use that method, of making a bunch of stuff up. So demop is what we'll call it. All right, going to leave this thing alone. Campaign objective is sales. Sweet. I'm going to go over here to the ad set level. All right, so you got to select your pixel and all the basic stuff. Say, all right, I want to get me a purchase. So I'm gonna try to sell something. Let's say this is for my book. All right. And what I'll do most of the time is right here, I'll say value. Move. And I won't put anything here. And this changes Facebook's algorithm. So now Facebook is going to go out and try to find me not only buyers, but buyers that like spend more money. And that generally yields a better result. And then, I'll do my targeting. And usually I'll do like developed countries. So I avoid developing countries where the economy is funky. So like US and Western Europe and stuff like that. And I'll type in an audience like marketing or something. So let's just pretend I filled in the countries here so I won't bore you. I'll just come right here and I'll type in marketing. And it'll be like, okay, there's 1 billion people interested in marketing. I'll be like, yay. And that's it. I'll do languages. I'll do English because I target English speaking countries, but also Western Europe. So I'll do English here. You get that. You need to watch me type all this stuff in. I use automatic placements. And I know that there's plenty of places where the ads aren't going to perform, but you know what? Facebook knows too. So the more restrictions you place on it, a lot of times, the more it'll cost you. It'll like actually be expensive. But if you like Facebook wants you to make money. So if you just say, all right, man, put it where the hell you think it's going to work. Sure, it'll spend a little money on places that suck, but it'll stop. And it'll be like, oh, okay, this isn't working. We're going to allocate more of the budget to this placement. And in letting it do that, they will actually charge you less money per 1,000 impressions. It's called CPM. You get a better deal. And that's the whole thing. Then I'll put my ad in there and I'll find the one or I'll make one. Use the normal ad creation methodology. And then when I'm done, I just come over here and I will get back to my ad set. And let's say this one was targeting like marketing. And it was spelled that way. I deliberately spelled it poorly. I would just duplicate it into the original campaign. And like, all righty. Well, and I would do $5 a day, not 20. Missed that. All right. And then be like, okay, who else should we target? I don't know. Let's see what Facebook says. Digital marketing. Okay. So I kill the marketing one. I've left digital marketing in there. And I just rename that ad set to digital marketing and I publish it. Now, this is assuming the ad's already built, just didn't want to make you watch me create an ad because you saw what the ads are. It's 2 sentences. That's the whole thing. So there are tools that can accelerate this. like finding audiences, like audiencer.io. That's good. Ad Espresso is a cool tool that'll allow you to make one ad or multiple ads and then duct tape a whole bunch of audiences in there and like build the whole campaign with a whole bunch of audiences already filled in. So you don't have to copy and paste and do everything like I did. But either way you want to do it is fine. But that's how I do it. And especially in the short term, the smaller budgets, they just tend to work better. Facebook works harder, and I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's do a few more questions. I've been going pretty long for this first session here, but that's cool. I mean, one question I've been like, are you ever running like your like posts as or are you just doing ads from scratch? So you're doing like kind of promoted posts that you and things like that, or are you just running kind of building your ads from scratch? That's one question.
Well, yeah, I mean, I build them. I don't quite get it. How else?
I guess because can't you do like promoted? You can do like a promoted post, or you like something like that, and it's like, oh, run this as an ad. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, like on IG.
Oh,
I don't think
yeah,
you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that very often. No, I should. Like I'm a terrible social media person. Like if I had any damn sense, I would follow my own advice and I would make a lot of content and I would run this video view stuff and I'd be making really good posts every day. I'd be like Hormozy.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. Like that's literally, I just don't feel like doing it. But it's only the dumbest thing possible because every time I do it like that, I just make more money. So there's no excuse for it. Like this is one of those like do as I say, not as I do things. Like, I'm like the doctor that smokes cigarettes or something. Like, okay, he's a pretty good doctor. The choices are a little questionable here. But I should be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Phil had asked, when do you switch from testing and ads at targeting to letting Facebook optimize for your dog whistle copy and target everyone in the US? I think you kind of answered that through example, though. You sort of like don't, you let Facebook just decide and do it. And you don't fuck with it too much, frankly.
Well, I use those automations a lot too,
right.
So like I just started that second phase where you take your winning audiences and put them in campaign budget optimization stuff. I just did that yesterday. Like 99% of the time, I never do that. I just have a gazillion audiences running and they'll work really, really well. And they'll kind of die out. The automations will turn off the ones that are bad. And then I just rebuild it, which is like pressing a couple buttons. And a lot of times it's the same freaking audiences. Because here's the deal, all right? Like we're targeting, let's say, accountants. Okay, or people that like dogs. The audience is this freaking big. What will happen is Facebook will just kind of hone in on like a little section of the audience. It's that big. And it can work for a while and then it'll stop. A lot of times you just rebuild the damn thing, like literally, like cut, pay, like duplicate the exact same campaign and turn it back on, and it'll start targeting this part of the audience. Like, okay, I'll look over here and I'll fish in this part of the pond. And I've been doing that same method for years. It's working pretty good. And the only reason I haven't been doing the CBO stuff is because I'll get impatient with it. And you're supposed to wait a while, so I'm amazed. Like today I got lucky, right? So it looks like I know what I'm doing right here with the CBO stuff. So this is pure luck that it, like this one didn't work, but what one of them was saying I did really, really well. And I can't remember which one it was. This guy, this flash sale CBO. It's like, man, like, wow, I'm looking really smart here. But like, see, look at these. This one, like, no, haven't made money on this one yet. So this is all of these are brand new, like running today. Haven't made money on this one yet. Haven't made money on this one yet. We're getting there. But a lot of times I won't have the patience for it. I'll turn it off because I get agitated because I want to look cool when I'm teaching these things, So it's like,
yeah.
I'm going to turn this off because it doesn't look cool. That's dumb. Shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, human nature. Let's see, where was another I had here? Levi was kind of asking about what you're using for tracking. Do you still use Hyros in addition to Facebook has?
No,
what are you doing
I
for your
don't. They're good. And by the way, this isn't accurate. So let's look at this. Let's see. Here, let me just make sure I don't show customer data. Hang on. I'll bring my screen up in a minute. Bing. Okay. So in reality, the CBO campaigns are actually doing better. This is an app that my partner and I have been working on forever. It's called ROAS.org, and it's not quite perfect. So no one can use it, and we're not pushing it. We thought we were there. We were so close, but we weren't. And so it's off sometimes, but like I'm the developing account on it. So I get the cool new updates. So let's just have a look here. I use this for tracking, and then I'll tell you the like publicly available thing that's good. Hyros, by the way, is good. Alrighty, so let's see. Let's look at these campaigns and see what they're really doing today. All right, so
zoom this one in a little bit too, if you don't mind.
So here are all my campaigns for the 4-course thing that are running today. So in reality, like Facebook's underreporting this one, but there's a delay in Facebook's reporting. See, so it's normal for them to underreport. In reality, this one, these are my good lookalikes that just started running today. Spent 152, got 214. I'll take it. This is a whole bunch of different audiences, and this one using the typical method, not CBO. And I can look at the actual audiences if I wanted to. Here is, where's my other CBO one? Let's see if this thing's doing well. This is where I'm not telling it to get value. I'm just saying, hey man, just get as many conversions as you can. I just want to see what happened. Unsurprisingly, it's not bringing in as much value. I've only spent 30 bucks. Here's one where I said, get me value, spent 89, only got 45, but it's day number 1. So I haven't had time to optimize. So I use this, but the CBO stuff is actually working better than we thought, which is great. I'll take that. And dude, guys, really, I don't know if we will ever finish this or not. Like it comes so close to being 100% accurate, and then it's not. And I'm like, I can't sell it if it's not accurate because it'll mess people up. So my suggestion for tracking is either A, Hyros, or B, what's running this stuff is I'm using, it's called Facebook Conversion Gateway API, which like is Facebook, and there's instructions on how to set it up on Facebook. I'm also using Facebook's Conversion API, which again, it integrates with just about everything. If you want to just look at tutorials on YouTube on how to do it or whatever, it's not hard. If you use WooCommerce, it already integrates with it. ClickFunnels has scripts to integrate with it. And then I just use a regular Facebook pixel along with offline conversion data. So I'm using all of that stuff to track it combined, and that allows me to get like these numbers here. For the same day, it's not going to be that accurate because there's like a 72-hour delay. But for, you know, a period of like 6 days, you know, we're going to have pretty good accuracy and stuff on there. And then I'm using Magics to automate it. It's pretty good. It's working out okay. That was a real fast answer to a very technical question. I was like, I bet I'll put these people to sleep if I walk them through how to set that up.
No, that was good. That was to give a good answer. And then, I know some people are asking like your kind of whole retargeting setup, but I feel like it's been a long call. So when we got more time tomorrow, we can always go into retargeting more tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll walk you through how to make the audiences tomorrow. If you want, because there's like a gazillion different audiences to make, and the bad news is it's a pain in the ass and it's tedious. The good news is like you can do it while you're watching Netflix. You know, it's not like it requires any real focus or anything. And once you do it, you've done it forever, and you don't have to mess with it anymore. Yeah, so I'll show you how to build those audiences tomorrow. You're just clicking buttons. There's nothing to it.
Cool. Perfect. And then the one other question that was like around that was when you're doing your retargeting, are you selling the same product or a more expensive one? I saw you retargeting to like a more expensive one, but are you also retargeting back to the same $4 offer as well?
No, which is completely stupid. I should totally retarget back to the $4 offer thingy. But I don't, because there's a deadline timer on it. So I'm like, damn, if I retarget someone and they've already clicked on it, they're just going to see an expired page, and I don't want to have to deal with it. Of course, I can exclude the people that saw that page by building a retargeting audience of just the people who saw the page, and then it would make sense to do it. So I have really been off of my retargeting game. a smart play for me would be to, number one, let this thing run like forever, or at least until it stops working, and then have other offers as well running. I just literally haven't done it, you know, because I get distracted and I'm doing 10 million different things at once. But the cool thing about retargeting is if you have 10 things to sell, dude, run 10 different ads in that audience. Like, just bludgeon the ever living shit out of the audience with offers, because someone else is. It might as well be you. They might as well be seeing your stuff everywhere instead of other people's stuff. And the only reason I haven't done it is because it's exhausting to like click the button and turn the ad campaign on. So now I'm going to do it. Now I feel stupid, you know. But that's really the only reason I don't have like, look at all these retargeting campaigns right now. I just haven't felt like doing it.
That makes sense.
I've been very focused on making this damn thing work for the past 8 months. It was like driving me nuts, you know. So
I'm laughing because I'm excited, yeah, which is like, and then, you know, because it could make you a ton of money, but then you're like, the stuff that actually is making you money, you're not, you know, classic. Can't relate. Cool. I think let's stop here because we've been gone for about, I mean, with the 10-minute sort of delay, 2.5 hours, which is longer than the 60 to 90 minutes I said we were going to go for, which I don't mind. I like over delivering and sharing tons of value. And honestly, the more time I can get with you, Frank, the better. But I also want to make this digestible for people who are going to watch like the replays and things like that. But yeah, again, lots of love here from Sean and Robert and Borfang and Eric and Susan. And yeah, it's our pleasure. We'll come back tomorrow at that same time, 1 p.m. We'll go through probably another example of that framework and another ad. I'll go a little bit more quickly since I've you already kind of shared it, but we'll look at a different niche. And then we'll look at, you know, examples of ads in different styles and types, and we'll dissect those. And then, yeah, if you want to do the retargeting stuff, Frank, I think that would be great. And yeah, for everyone else, thanks for saying it's great. Feel free to tell people on the social medias and stuff like that. I saw Romain put a thing on Instagram story with us, and his Instagram story of like, you know, the class. So, you know, everyone wants to Instagram how great it was, give us a tag. You know, I know Frank's not a huge Instagrammer, but I'll take it. You know, I'll share it in my story if you tag me, stuff like that.
I do the duck lips or the tough guy face, so I don't know what to do.
That's true. I mean, the dancing on TikTok where you just like point at stuff. You think you can do that? I feel like, you know. No,
I can point. Yeah,
you can point.
Look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
That's compelling, dude. Yeah. Wow. Now I'm gonna crush TikTok, man. This is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, dude, look out, world. Cool. So I'll set the replay as well for everyone. But yeah, thanks all for joining us. And Frank, thank you for sharing so much incredible stuff here. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
Sweet. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow, and then I'll show you how to build retargeting audiences and stuff.
Perfect. All right.
All right.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, man. All right. Bye, guys.